Four players tonight, Barstool Sports. We did the clap yet again. I have no idea if it was proper. I have no idea if we did it correctly. In my brain and in my eardrums, we all clapped at completely different times. I don't know if that helps producer Jake Bass. Brendan, I have no idea. I hope that it does. Big thanks to those guys for all they do. It's Masters Week, so I don't really care about any other stuff. It is Masters Week. We got a ton to talk about. Jordan Spieth just won for the first time in nearly 4 years. He won in his home state of Texas. He won in a battle coming down the stretch. It wasn't handed to him. Charlie Hoffman with an Ley finish to his name, who, for the record, ate at Borelli's with us and Kisner during the PGA Championship a couple years ago. Great guy. He pushed him to the brink. He had a great tournament. But Spieth came out and won. I think he's like the third favorite now to win the Masters this week, which we'll get into a lot. But it is Masters Week. We got videos coming out this week. There's a ton going on. Barstool Classic. We got the Augusta National Women's Amateur to talk about. We got a major in the women's game to talk about. So there's a lot going on. Gentlemen, it's Sunday night, recording early. How are we? How is everybody?
Great.
I feel good. I feel good. I'm looking at Frankie's forehead. I feel great.
It's nice to see.
Anybody...
I actually think when his forehead comes out, he looks the best that like Frankie can look. I think this is actually the best you can look. You take the hat off, you look better.
Yeah. Well, I've often said I have a feminine forehead. There's a bit of a tilt, a bit of an angle to it. It's large, it's in your face, but so I usually just get used to hiding behind the lid of a hat. It's easy. I wasn't always just a hat guy. I think when I came to Barstool, it was just like going to the city every day. I didn't feel like doing my hair and stuff, so you just throw a hat on. I got used to that. And then you got to a point where you had to wear a hat every single day because that's who you became. You know what I mean? If I just showed up one day without a hat on, that was a problem. So a year turns into 2 years, 2 years turns into 3 years, 3 years turns into 4 years, 4 years turns into 5 years. And now we're sitting here on Easter Sunday, and obviously I didn't wear a hat to, my cousin's house.
Is that the reason? It's because it's Easter and you were being a, nice, classy
well, you just can't,
Christian fella?
No, it's not even that. You just can't, I don't know. I'm wearing a nice Peter Millar Barstool quarter zip. I got, the nice jeans on. You wear nice shoes. It's a nice day. You get with the family. You don't feel like you shouldn't be rocking a hat on days like that. So I let the hair breathe a little bit, the forehead. I'm in the comfort of my own family at that point, so no one's really talking about the feminine features of my face. But when I'm on a podcast with hundreds of thousands of people looking and seeing me, I get a little bit more nervous.
I have a recommendation.
Okay.
I think you gotta lose the feminine forehead thing. I don't think it makes any sense. I've been with you dozens of times when you say that to people, and no one knows what it means. Nobody.
It is what it is.
You say it.
I would just say you have a big forehead, but you don't have a feminine forehead.
There's just not any definition to it. It's if a female's hair was on top of it, it would look more natural than if like a male's head.
I don't even know what a feminine forehead is.
This is what I'm saying.
It's a forehead.
I'm telling you. And that is the reaction he gets 98% of the time when he says that. I think he thinks that people are going to understand what he says, but no one knows what it means. You have a forehead. I have a forehead. Lurch has a forehead. Riggs has a forehead. I think they're all, if you were if you were to cut out just the forehead part of your head and put it in a lineup with a bunch of other foreheads, I think people would be like, that's just a forehead.
Right. Frankie's big thing for his own humor against him to self-deprecate and get with other people is to say that he has dainty features, that he's feminine. And so it's just a big play on his, you do have a frail body, but I don't think it's feminine in any way. You're certainly a male.
I think I've agreed with you before that you have a feminine forehead, and I just don't even know what that means. You've just said it so many times. I've been like, haha, yeah, you do.
This was proven when you tweeted about it. I vividly remember this. We were in Scottsdale, and we had taken some sort of picture when we were in Scottsdale. We were headed back to the hotel, and you put out a tweet being like something about my feminine forehead. And at one point you looked up and you said, can you believe how little amount of likes this tweet is getting right now? I think it had been up for 20 minutes and it had 8 likes. I think that should have been all the proof you needed that no one understands what that means.
Listen, a lot of stuff happened in the golf world today. We can't keep talking about my forehead or else I'm just going to snap. And I'm in a good mood today, all right? Listeners, beware. I'm happy today, so I don't know what that's gonna say. I know we have a cool show on our hands today, so I think this is gonna be a good one. Let's all just keep the good vibes rolling, the good times rolling.
Did you start out with some jelly beans today?
I didn't have one piece of candy today.
No.
I swear to God.
How many deviled eggs?
Dude, I started my day with 10 slices, 10 pieces of bacon.
Oh, that's nice.
10. I'm talking, that's a lot. That is a lot of bacon, right?
I'm talking to a guy that he eats 10 bagels.
But
Were
dude,
they
like
properly burnt to a crisp? Did you get them just
properly burnt to a crisp, and to the point where like the bacon was to my left, and there was 6 or 7 pieces of bacon, a paper towel, more bacon beneath that, a paper towel. I let everyone have their bacon, their 1 or 2 slabs, and then I finish off the whole plate. I turned over a couple pieces of those paper towels to get to the next layer.
It's a nice morning.
So tough day to start, and then about 12 deviled eggs today before having the lamb chops, and it's a lot. But happy Easter or whatever you celebrate. It's springtime. It's Augusta time.
It is Augusta time. Happy Easter. You're right. We should say that. If you're not into that, well, then happy just Sunday and general day that other people are celebrating Easter. I hope you have a lovely time. I said that we're presented by Barstool Sports. We're also presented by Owen's Mixers. And Owen's Mixers, they've got a big deal now. They're going to be in the Krogers all over the place. They're down in the Publix in Florida when I was in Florida last week. And you can order them right to your spot. Here at Pinehurst, where I'm at for a few days while we have the Barstool Classic down the street, the transfusion is all over the place. People cannot stop ordering them. You go into the Deuce, everybody wants the transfusion. You go over to the Pine Cone at the Cradle, everybody wants the transfusion because it's that delicious. It's also that time of year. Sun's coming out, it's getting warmer. Little tournament going down in Augusta, Georgia. Everybody's just excited. The country's starting to open up a little bit more, so people are just excited to be out. You want a cocktail, you want a good drink, Owens is your answer. They've been with us for, I think, over a year now. They've been supporting a bunch of the stuff that we do, including our Masters coverage coming up this next weekend, including a bunch of the matches that we've done, Scrambles, and this podcast. So big thanks to Owens. It's very simple. They're mixers. They make them with a lot of quality, a lot of care, and they like cocktails themselves, so they just get it. You pour it in with your liquor of choice, and boom, you just have an awesome cocktail. It is that simple. I've explained it to you. I'll explain it again. Order the Owens Mixers. You go on Amazon. You can go to your local retailer, get it, pour it in, and you have an awesome cocktail. It's a great thing.
I'm also being told by our producer that they are going to be sponsoring a live stream that we're doing for the Masters. Is that right? So when we're going to be doing a giveaway, so be on the lookout for that giveaway when we're doing the streams later in the week in Philly.
Keep those eyes and ears peeled because we're going to be doing giveaways. We are going to be, a couple housekeeping things before we get into the golf. We're going to be in Philly at the Gambling House, and we're going to be live betting the Masters, which is maybe the most fun I've had in the last 6-8 months is when we did it in November. The Barstool Sportsbook is live in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Illinois. Hopefully folks registered online. Illinois, and it's going to be in more states soon, but we're going to be in Pennsylvania and Philly gambling, live betting the Masters, getting involved from Thursday all the way through Sunday. We're doing live streams so you can watch our reactions, and it's going to be a great time.
I'm very excited. I really am. You are right about that because I'll admit it, I'm not the biggest gambler in the world, but when you do the golf betting, when it's fairways and greens and regulations, it doesn't matter who you are. That is some good, clean fun. And we're going to be doing a lot of that this weekend, so be sure to watch that. And do it yourself if you're in those states.
We were rubbing elbows, and I could see you getting into it. Like, you're definitely and you're a good, responsible gambler as well, because when you leave, you're okay. Like, you don't need it, you don't fiend it. But you were getting amped about fairways, not fairways, getting up, high fives. It's a ton of fun doing that constant battle of, hey, gonna hit the green, not gonna make the par, not. Like, it's just constant the whole time. It's so much fun.
It's instant what is it?
Instant satisfaction.
Instant satisfaction. Instant gratification, which is what I'm looking for.
What did I try to say? Validify?
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it's not a word.
I fucked up. I'm sorry.
This is when the Dave Portnoy versus Shane Lowry tracker battle spawned. You pick something, you pick a horse, if you will, a bet, and you ride it so hard, and you get to do it during the Masters, and it's so much fun. I cannot wait to responsibly pick a handful of guys and responsibly back them and get after it all week. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to have a ton of live streams, and you're going to kind of get our reaction to, what's going on in the gambling aspect of it and just our general reaction to the golf as it unfolds. And then Tuesday night, the Dustin Johnson second video will be out on the Foreplay YouTube channel. The first one was phenomenal. I know a lot of people were commenting like that's just a light and a personality, I guess light shed on a personality of DJ, a side of his personality that they've never seen before, where he was casual, he was chirpy, he was laughing, he was talking drones with Lurch, he was calling Trent his pigeon, he was roasting me for how you're going to lay up and then lose. Like, he was just chirping everybody and was into it, and we've got a whole nother video of that coming out Tuesday night where he picked one club and tried to beat all four of us as well, and it's really good.
Right. At one point, he threw a lip, and like we were just hanging out with a guy. Like, it was insane. Like, Frankie said it best where he's on the first tee. It's like, it is a little weird when you tee off and DJ's behind you because you're like, dude, I top out my power. You're probably 5-iron. If you rip the 5-iron, you probably about be where I can rip a drive to. So I feel emasculated out of the gate. But then he was just hanging out with us, and he is the most dialed in guy that you wouldn't expect, or people don't expect, but he truly is. Like, he knew where everybody laid, what people were doing, what their options were, and then he was just a good guy to talk to. So first one was great. Can't wait to see the next one.
Yeah, a lot of the comments were just, I can't believe I've never heard him speak this much. Because if you think about it, you don't. He'll do a press conference. He'll give one of his answers that everybody's like, okay, that's a pretty ridiculous thing to say. And then you don't really hear him talk other than you just don't hear him speak at all ever. So to hear him talk for 20 minutes in that video, and then they're going to hear more of it in the video on Tuesday. So yeah, people did like that. People were mean about the pigeon thing on the internet. They were making memes and they were making GIFs. And
I saw a lot of funny memes.
Yeah, people were mean about it. People were mean about him calling me a pigeon, and I get it. But I just wanted people to know that I saw the people being mean.
Pigeon memes, I feel like they're easy to make. So people were just, there's like a pigeon on top of a fence post, and everyone's just like, oh, ran into Dustin Johnson's competitor the other, and it's like, it's just easy. It's just easy to get. And I laughed at every single one of them, Trey. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He looked you in the eyes and said, "There's my pigeon," and that's that's tough to come back from. And he says it in a way that's different than the use of pigeon that I've heard. Right, like I feel like Pink Whitney. Jesus, I feel like Ryan Whitney has like really brought the word pigeon into the mainstream, of Barstool in particular, and that's always just like You don't know anything about sports. You don't know anything about hockey. You idiot. What a bad take, you pigeon. Like, he's called me a pigeon a million times. And for you, it was like, no, you're just not good at this sport that I'm about. Like, you're out of this hole. You're a pigeon. You know what I mean? It was different. It had nothing to do with, like, your assessment of sports. It had nothing to do with you just were going to lose to him that day, and that fell into the category of pigeon.
Right.
Like he was gonna cage you up and put you in the back room and you were never gonna see the light of day. You're just a pigeon.
Or he's just like holding me in his hands and can do anything that he wants to.
Frankie, is that your favorite stance in the world right there, where you get to freely throw punches at Trent because the punches didn't really come from you, but you get to tell Trent that he is just going to die today, but that punch didn't really come from you. So you get to just redirect that. I think that may be your favorite place to be.
Maybe that position, but not directly towards Trent. I'd like to do that to you a little bit more. But
100%. No, but I think that that stance, I think, is your number one stance of all time.
Dude, I always was like that. If someone was getting in trouble in class or something, I'd like turn around and be like, you really shouldn't have done that. I mean, it's like, even though I probably got the tension the most in that class, I'd turn around and be like, Ryan, you really shouldn't have spoken. The teacher's mad now and everyone's laughing at you. It's like, what the fuck, man? Yeah, I do like piling on. I think that's what it is. I think it's piling on.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean,
I think that's right.
I think that's right in that stance too, though. I mean, I think Trent DJ looked at Trent dead in the eyes and was like, nah, he's definitely going to lose. Like, I know.
Right, I'm a mark. I'm a fucking mark. I mean, and when I'm playing the number one golfer in the world and everyone knows my talent level in my golf game, he can sniff that out faster than anybody. He's like, oh, there's my pigeon. It wasn't your pigeon. You're my pigeon. And he then is going to own
Found my pigeon. There he is. Trent's just wobbling around like fucking pecking at little things on the ground. Like, there's my little pigeon.
And guess what? He was right.
We were all his pigeon, really. I mean, he beat us 4-0 lefty, so that was tough.
That was tough. We've had a lot of triumphant moments as the 4-man scramble, in that moment, we were embarrassed by Dustin.
Dude, it's just watching that video back. I hadn't missed a green. It's a par 5. We've put out 4 videos already, or 5, and I hadn't missed a green in 2 yet. So I never had to hit a chip. So I played against Matthew Wolff, Tommy Fleetwood, Doc Redman. I'm missing one, right?
Morikawa.
Sorry, ever heard of him? And I never had to take out the wedge. Of course, for Dustin Johnson. It's a tight lie over the hardest bunker in Florida. And,
I mean, on a down slope where you had to nip one over the bunker. That shot was impossible.
Impossible, dude. And I hit an impossibly bad shot in an impossible spot. Like, it's hard to do what I did in that situation. So,
I mean, DJ didn't even know anything about your history with a wedge, and he was like, "That's not a good spot to be."
I was thinking about, like, I would have loved to watch DJ maneuver his way around that chip right-handed. Like, just see how he would have attacked that shot. Because you have no room to land it, and you have a bunker in front and behind. Maybe, I don't know, how many feet would you say that was? 15 feet of green in that little part of that green?
Yeah, it was like a little sliver of green over there.
It was just impossible.
Yeah, it was like if it was a live game where they do the like percentages that you get this ball, it would have been literally less than 1, and that's not. I don't know anybody else would have been that much higher.
I mean, Lurch had like not a similar one, but kind of a similar one, and he hit a shit shot also. So
Horrible.
Yeah, so bad.
Horrible.
I mean, none of us made par. Like none of us made par on a very reachable par 5, and DJ just made a pretty easy par.
Very easy par.
Who's
Use my
also-
putter. You want to know what's crazy? And I got so many tweets about this. I just think that we're so blinded sometimes by our situations and like our experiences that you really don't realize like what we did. We played golf with Dustin Johnson, and to me, I think we do realize it a little bit because we were going fucking crazy. But like Dustin Johnson used my putter, and he used it, and he putt with it, and he made a par. And I was getting messages being like, "Have you like hung that up? Like, if you really think about giving your equipment that you own to the best player in the world, and he utilized it to play the sport that he is the best at in the world, there's nothing comparable to that. Like throwing your glove to like Alex Rodriguez in his prime, being like, yo, you want to like go out here and use this in like a game? Like maybe it's not a game because he wasn't playing a tournament, but like you want to like have a catch and like use my fucking, you want to like use my glove?
People also picked up on an iconic moment where, amid all the controversy with Kevin Na and him on the gimme, that he legit lagged it up close and then looked at us and goes, "Is that good?"
Yes.
Like before he scooped it, and we were like, "Yeah, that's good." And they were like, the day before, he just didn't even give Kevin Na that amount of respect.
Does that prove that he was more into our match than he was against Kevin Na? And like he wanted to know like if that putt was legitimately okay in our match against him.
He was like, "Hey, just to confirm,
Yes.
is this fucking putt good, gentlemen?" And we were like, "Yes." And he didn't do that in an official match play on the PGA Tour.
And real quick, what's crazy, and the reason why I brought up that putter thing, is because I have that putter, and for people that don't know, it's like a Fang putter that Tiger actually used that one time he like surprised us all with a mallet, and we were going insane. Like what?
He almost won at Carnoustie with that.
He almost won at Carnoustie. I was putting lights out with this thing. Obviously, like I drained the fucking eagle against Matthew Wolff, Doc Redman. We went into a putting competition. I beat him in that. It was insane. I haven't used that putter since that day. They sent me a spider putter, which I love TaylorMade. The spiders are awesome. You guys all like rain putts with that thing. I can't putt with the spider. I have yet to use that last putt, that putter since then. What am I doing over here? What's Frankie doing not using the putter that Dustin Johnson used? It's probably got some sort of juice in there. Like when we went to Nevada, I didn't use it once.
Why don't you go back to it?
I'm going to.
Oh, okay.
I'm absolutely going to.
What do you think DJ's handicap is if you were to play lefty?
Oh, if he were to play lefty?
Yeah, if he was lefty and just was a lefty golfer, is he a +1 handicap?
It's just hard because we watched him play one hole.
I know, but
Like,
he cured that pitching wedge going in, which
but
really
he,
rattled.
but he like okay, but he hooked a 4-iron and then he topped one that barely got through a bunker and rolled out down the middle of the fairway.
Was that
like,
a top?
Yeah, he like bladed it through. Remember, and it like skipped through and got way out there.
I think if Dustin Johnson played a full round of golf lefty, I think he'd shoot like an 81. And it would be incredibly impressive. He'd shoot like a low 80, I think. I mean, how many birdies would this guy really make lefty? Come on. Come on.
What if he played a
I think
whole
he'd shoot
year?
higher. I'm thinking higher. I'm thinking he would shoot higher. Frank.
Okay. Yeah. But he was still fucking sick. That divot
Right.
he took was out fucking rageous.
It was.
Riggs, you are right that it was only one hole, but that actually works the other way too, where he probably gets into a rhythm once he starts playing more holes, and then who knows? I mean, he looks so good.
He hit that ball. What was that? What iron did he hit at that pin?
I think it was like a wedge. I think he was pretty close.
He was
like
close?
one-
Okay.
Was he? What was he?
He had a
one-
pitching wedge, I think. Yeah. What
So
he just
I mean,
left
that-
it short
or
and
something?
2-putted.
It was on the pin, just a little short, right?
Yeah,
Like it
right
was
at the flag.
right at the flag with movement too, like a pitching wedge with a little bit left to right fucking
Yeah, 2
draw. like-
yards of it. Yeah.
The only thing I'm thinking is I remember like when Ricky and JT posted those matches that they would have playing lefty, and like Ricky was putting out of bunkers because their short games were so bad lefty that I think I saw DJ swing is fucking solid left-handed. I just don't know that like the places you really end up during a full round of golf, as we all know, that like him playing left-handed, that he could really navigate his way around the course for 18 holes and not have some big numbers.
I think his swing's astronomically better than both those guys lefty. I think he's legitimately ambidextrous.
No, I think he's better. I'm just saying that their short games, like we didn't really get to see his short game because he just hit it
Right.
close and 2-putted.
True.
But I don't know. Maybe his short game, like chipping, there's no way he can chip well fucking left-handed. There's no way.
That's
We're
true.
good.
Bunker shot lefty, offhanded. That gives me the biggest moment of pause in my own brain
Yeah, it's
to
like
think if I could ever get it out. Like that actually seems fundamentally impossible. to
Now
get
we
it out.
have some content to do with him next year. Then
It's true.
full 18
Said-
holes. DJ, you got 5 hours on you real quick? We're going to do
Right.
full 18 holes.
or at least throw him in a bunker.
Yeah.
Saying you got
be like-
5 hours real quick is great.
Anyways, tonight, Tuesday, the DJ One Club, so we have a whole nother video. So you got to see the lefty one. We got a whole nother video coming out, so check that out on the Foreplay YouTube channel. Okay. Valero, Texas Open, Jordan Spieth, teed off, tied for the lead on Sunday. He has, I believe, in the last 5 stroke play starts, he has 3 top 4 finishes. He was like 4th at Waste Management. I think he finished, 2nd at Pebble, and then he was 4th and one other one. So he's clearly been right there. We've been going nuts about Jordan Spieth. Teed off with the lead, tied for the lead. Had a great final round, got himself to the point, going down the back 9, where it really looked like he was going to pull away. Had like a 3-shot lead. Then Charlie Hoffman, who is most famous for pretty much leading the Masters after Thursday, right? That's like the Charlie Hoffman thing, is that he always leads after Thursday, and then he kind of fizzles, and you don't really see him that much in the back 9. He gets roasted for that all the time. Charlie Hoffman chips in, gives a great fist pump, which I love to see, and then made on the 16th hole, which is that par 3, made a bomb, like a 20-footer for birdie, 15, 20-footer up the hill, to all of a sudden cut Jordan Spieth's lead to 1. And you're thinking, man, we've been here so many times over the last 2 or 3 months. Here is Spieth the week before the Masters. He's right there. He's playing great golf. He was like 6 under for the day with the lead. And somehow it's going to get taken away from him. Well, then he roasts one down the fairway on 17, hits a wedge to 5 feet, makes it. And you're thinking it's over. And then Spieth, only in the way that he can, him and Greller really shined as, I would say, the most entertaining conversationalists in the world of golf, where Spieth standing in the middle of the fairway. I think he had like 277 flag. It was like 250 or so to cover the front of the green. And he's got a 3-wood in his hands with water and shit everywhere and a 2-shot lead. And you're thinking, like, man, what is this kid doing? Like, it's a layup and a wedge and a putt, and you're forced the other guy has to make an eagle. Spieth's got a 3-wood in his hands, and then they get right in there, and you hear him. He literally asks Greller, he's like, does 3-wood bring bogey into play? And Greller pauses and, like, doesn't say anything for a second, and then is like, no. And everyone's kind of thinking, like, no, like, yeah, it does. Of course it fucking
does.
If you just if you hit a heel cut or something into the water, then you're just going to make bogey and you're going to lose the tournament. And so he ends up just totally, it's like he had an enlightening moment, and he's just like, it's an 8-iron. It's obviously an 8-iron. Takes 8-iron, hits it, hooks one into the left rough, and you're like, oh my God, it's happening. Then he hit a good shot from there. Obviously, Charlie Hoffman didn't hole out for eagle, and Spieth wins the tournament, kind of like you thought it would. But Spieth and Greller continue to be so fascinating when they pan in on them, talking caddy to player. And I'm excited that Spieth's back because we get a lot more of that.
Yeah, and I don't know how you capitalize on that in any way, or you just, every time that they are, I guess you just throw mics on them, and every time that they're talking about a shot, you play it. The announcers recently with these guys, and it happened again at Pebble, where when you just let them talk, it's better than anything that a commentator is going to bring to the table. So I guess the more of that, the better. And like you're saying, if Spieth continues to put himself in contention, we're going to get a ton more of that, because the more they're in contention, the more they're going to discuss shots down the stretch. And Spieth played really well today. He figured out the driver early on, because the first 3 holes he was spraying it all over the place, and it looked like it was, he was going to bring Hoffman back into it. He was going to bring Matt Wallace, even more back into it. But he figured out the driver, and he was hitting fairways the rest of the way. But it was just a very entertaining day of golf, watching Charlie Hoffman and Spieth exchange blows down the stretch. It was very cool.
I almost thought the tracker, when he pulled it left, I was like, did he just hit that thing OB? Did anybody else think that that was off the map or in just a horrible location? Because
I think what it was that there's 2 sides to that creek that you can take, and I think he was intentionally trying to go up the left side.
Okay.
I think he hooked it like 10 yards, where it looked like he just hooked it 50 yards.
I was like, oh my God. I was like, he didn't do that right there. After all this, he didn't return to Texas. He's back in his home state. This tournament it makes sense. And then I was like, oh my God, he didn't do that. And then obviously, it turned out to be fine. He knocks it up there and Charlie goes for it. So the score was probably not to the same of how actually close the match was, because Charlie was trying to hole out that chip and be a little bit more aggressive. But yeah, it was a great finish. It was, and now just a marketing person's dream to have Spieth win the week before the Masters, because people are going to go nuts for this next week. And I actually think that shot and him still winning relaxes him to make him an even better play potentially when we're at the gambling house this weekend to put a little money on Spieth.
Yeah, congratulations to Jordan Spieth. Do I have to eat crow? Is that something you guys think I have to do?
Yeah, because I was just going to ask you about that,
yeah.
because when he started playing well, when he had his Saturday at the Waste Management, and then he started playing really well, he played well at Pebble, he started putting a lot of good tournaments right in a row. What were you saying? You were saying that none of this matters until he gets a win. When we were saying, the more rational people on this podcast were saying that these are building blocks, and he is making his way and putting one foot in front of the other and is eventually going to win. But we think these are all good steps that he needs to be taking. And as you had said that now that he's starting to finish well, it's almost getting old, and he needs to win one before any of this matters. So yeah, I think you do have to eat some crow.
Yeah, okay, so I'll apologize for being so aggressive with my take on that, but I don't think that what I said was incorrect. I think that I was holding Jordan Spieth to a higher level than just building blocks, right? It's been almost 4 years since this guy won a tournament. He was supposed to be the next coming of fucking Tiger Woods at one point with the amount of majors he was winning. He came out. We've talked about this at length about how Jordan Spieth was the next guy, and he just went away for a while. He's got mental issues on the golf course. He's talked about them. He doesn't know what he's looking at when he stands on top of a ball sometimes. I think part of the thing that Riggs loves, that you're saying, he's the most must-watch person when it comes to him and Greller. I think that's just because he's a crazy person. I don't know that. I think every guy mic'd up with his caddy would be interesting. I think we just hear him because he's nonstop and he's psychotic. Now that also goes to your point where, yeah, you got to mic that guy up. He has to be listened to. But I would argue that fucking Justin Thomas talking to his caddy, I would pay just as much money. You know what I mean, though? I think all conversations with caddies are super interesting.
Let me say this. We've stood behind Spieth on the range, and we've stood behind JT on the range, and the shit that's coming out of Spieth's mouth that's going between him and Greller is way more interesting than what's going on with the other guys.
It's interesting because he's just off the handle.
Whatever
he
the
talks
reason
through
is,
everything.
he's very vocal about it.
He thoroughly talks through everything. When you get when they mic up other caddies or however they do it, when the camera's really close, it's a lot of, do you like that? Do you like that? Do you like that? When they're talking yardages and where they want to aim it and all that. With Spieth, it's different. I have yet to hear another caddy-player interaction that is like Spieth and Greller. They really go through it, and they talk about everything. And part of it certainly is that Jordan Spieth's brain is constantly moving, and he constantly wants to make sure he is hitting the right shot, using the right club, judging the wind correctly. And it's just that he blurts all of that out. And I don't know if there's another player that does it quite like that.
It's got to be really hard to be Greller because it seems, watching him, it seems like Jordan Spieth's just trying to speak into existence what he wants to happen, right? So like he'll ask a question or he'll say something, and he just wants like verbal confirmation that is what's happening. It almost seems that way, and Greller has to then decide: am I going to step in and say no, you're wrong, to a guy that like clearly is like going 1,000 miles an hour in his head? Because now we're back to square one in his brain. Now we got to think of a new club. Or do you just be like, yeah, like a yes man and be like, yep.
Yeah, that was the exact situation on 18. That's exactly right. When he said like he had to like confirm that the 3-wood was fine, when you could tell he was like, no, dude, that's not fine. But then you don't want to put negativity in your guy's mind, right? So like, even if you're thinking 3-wood could bring bogey into play, you don't tell your guy that 3-wood could bring bogey into play. You're like, yeah, that's perfect. Go for it, because you just want him to be fully committed. So yeah, Greller was in an impossible spot there, and luckily he Spieth called himself off of it and was like, nah, it's just an 8-iron.
Well,
I wonder,
if you're the caddy there, I think as soon as your player says like, hey, does this club like bring in like inherent danger, I think you have to just agree with them, because like clearly their mind is thinking now that the 3-wood, like I would say anybody knows, like the driver has more danger than the putter. Like you're just going to hit it further. It can go way further offline. Like it just has more danger. So I think as a caddy, as soon as he said, like, is this 3-wood bringing bogey? It's like, yeah, I think let's back off. Let's go 8-iron. What do you feel comfortable with?
I then wonder if the act and the art of him speaking out everything that he thinks actually is more of a negative on his game than a regular guy who just like says what, like, it's that interaction that Trent just said, where it's like, you like that? Yep. You like that? Yeah. By him going through every option, is he even getting like the natural answer that he should be getting? Or are you just like dealing with a guy that you really can't talk off? You know what I mean? Greller's in a tough spot, man. It's got to be the hardest caddying job on tour. It has to be.
No, I hear you with like talking through all of the options, but I think in that case, like if you're the yup guy, like yup.
He was the yup guy.
No, I know, but I'm saying like as soon as you say like, does the 3-wood bring more danger? And yup, let's get a new club, let's get something else.
But he's not always a yes man. We have seen situations with Greller and Spieth where Greller will voice his opinion and say, no, I like the 6-iron here, not 7-iron. Like there are moments like that, and that's where being a caddy and being specifically Spieth's caddy, Greller, you have to just know your guy. You have to know when to be a therapist. You have to know when to step in. You have to know when to be a friend. Like him saying no to the bogey 3-wood talk, that's like, I guarantee Greller did the math in his head and was just like Riggs said, like he needs to be confident over this, because if he's not confident over it, it fucking definitely brings in a bogey, and then we're in real trouble.
Right.
So it's kind of
that's the way I took
really
it.
Just know, right.
I took it where Greller was like, dude, my guy's hitting it great. So like if I'm not going to be able to talk him off this club, so if he's committed to hitting the 3-wood, which it seems like he might be, then I need to be fucking in his corner with it so that he can make a confident swing. Because me being like, I'm not really sure, is only going to make Jordan be like, well, now what do we fucking do? Where instead, if he's just like, yeah, that's good, then he's like, my guy's killing it right now, we're fine.
Yeah, if Greller says, yeah, that brings bogey into play, and then Spieth still decides to go with the 3-wood, if it ends up in the water, then it's Greller's fault.
Yeah.
In Spieth's style.
Right. Then he's like, you told me a bogey came. Of course I hit it.
You just didn't have my back. Like we were in a fight together, and you just like bailed when the big guy came out of the corner.
That's right.
Like,
I think every caddy goes. I would imagine on the tour, every caddy goes through where you just have to pick your spots on when to say something and when not. I just think with Spieth it happens a lot more, where Greller has to decide what to say.
There was a great video that I saw. It might have been going to ad or something like that, but it was Greller and Spieth, and Spieth is just like talking to Greller like this. And Greller just like reaches in the bag, grabs a water, doesn't even like look at him, but is just like holding this. And Spieth is just blabbering through a thought. It's not about water, but Greller's just like holding this up. And it's like, dude, take a sip, take a breath. Let's keep this train moving. But just like, here's a little water, and I might have put something in it to chill you out. Like, they've got a great dynamic. So I do agree.
Right. I'm pretty sure they're going to be together forever.
Yeah. They have to be.
I mean, he's 27. Obviously, anybody knows anything can happen. But like, I think Greller would have left town already.
Well, Spieth also won over a lot of people by always saying "we," right? Like when he was really winning, when he was winning the Masters, winning majors, he would always answer questions about "we." Like, oh yeah, well we were in this spot, we were thinking this, never I. And so like he views Greller as he's like on a full team, and this is his team, and they win and lose as a team, which has always won a lot of people over. I feel like.
Yep. So congratulations to him. Obviously, those past tournaments were building blocks, and I like to bring things back to hockey, even though it's not a hockey podcast. But Jordan Spieth stuck to the system. He never looked at the scoreboard, and he just was like, if we play this way at the end of the third period, if we keep playing and keeping the fucking foot on the gas, we're gonna end up winning this hockey game. And he did that. He stayed with the system, even though he had a couple of chances in the beginning of the season, and he was right there. He never got discouraged. He kept building off his swing, and congrats to him. Congrats to the team. I am happy that Jordan Spieth is back. I did say, like, I want this fucking guy to be back. I just don't know that, like, T2s and top fives and all these things are a Jordan Spieth level of success. I think this guy needs to be winning the Valero Open and needs to be contending for the Masters. That is who Jordan Spieth is, and I'm glad that
Valero
he's back.
Open, the Frankie Valero Open. Bellery.
It was one of those things where I like forgot how it was like pronounced or even spelt, and I just tried to get through it fast so that no one would like even question it, and it ended up making so much more of an emphasis on the word that you had to question it. So
I had to.
Jordan Spieth is back, and I'm not afraid to say that, and I'm happy. I mean, I would gladly put some coin on Jordan Spieth for at least a top 10 at the Masters on the Barstool Sportsbook, and I will be doing that, actually. I think he's going to build off that. The guy's going to be jacked up stepping up to the first tee at Augusta.
I like that. I also like Bargatze's play on J-Day. I for whatever reason, that one made sense to me, and I'm like, that's
that was just out of left field, so you have to bet that.
Yeah,
question though, before we move on from Greller, wasn't Greller like Spieth's like third grade teacher? Like, tell me, wasn't there something there, or is that just?
No, he was a third grade teacher, I think.
Oh, he was a third grade, but he wasn't Spieth's third grade teacher.
I can't tell you how much those timelines don't match up.
Not
with
even
him
close,
being him being Jordan Spieth's third grade teacher.
You think Greller's like fucking 60, like 50? Like what are you thinking?
That's like fuck. I'm gonna screw this up, but I was on a big
Griller
Parks and Rec.
like, if he was like 22, young third grade teacher, working on the algebra math and whatever they're doing, I think you could add up.
It's a young teacher.
Do you guys watch Parks and Rec? You are wrong. I would say you're definitely wrong. But there is Ron Swanson's first wife, Tammy One. She in that show, she's like, I was there when he was birthed, and I was there. I was his first grade teacher. It was a very similar situation to what you're saying. With you thought that was the Greller and Spieth thing.
Appreciate
but it just can't be. It can't be.
The golf season is in full swing, and now is the perfect time to get out on the course. And we have an announcement that is the Barstool Golf Time app. We partner with Supreme Golf. Yes, we have our own app that is out now that you need to download and check out, that is going to get you dialed in for tee times, for booking tee times. We've got our reviews in there. We've been writing reviews. We've been submitting our videos that have reviews. And we want people to genuinely, when you go to try to find a tee time, to have the information that we think you should have before you pick a golf course. It's that simple. We want you to be able to have user-submitted information, take a photo on the course, write your little blurb about what happened on that golf course when you were there, so that other stoolies, other foreplay listeners, patrons like yourself, when they go to the app, Barstool Golf Time app, partnered with Supreme Golf, they will see the information that you put on there and make a legitimate, well-informed, educated decision on which course they should choose and why.
I love everything you just said. I mean, it's our app. It's our Tee Time app. This is something that is big news. Real big news if you think about it.
Huge.
I mean, this is our crew. This is our people. And we want you to go out and golf. It's as simple as that. Go golfing, use our terminology, and this is something that we now have given to you to utilize.
Other good features as well are going to be Barstool Golf rewards that are going to get you free merch, which are going to be rolling out very soon. So there will be a rewards program. But it is literally our app that we have been working on, that we came up with the ideas for, that we said this is the information people need before they make tee times. And now it's in an app that you can download and use.
If you're listening to the show, you golf. and you're going to golf, and you're going to need tee times to do so. So you might as well use our app, and like Riggs is saying, there's going to be a rewards program. We're going to be rolling out. Use it. We're going to be giving away merch. There's no reason not to use the Barstool Golf Time app. You need it. You're going to be golfing, and the golf season's right around the corner.
It
So
would be
it's gonna
very
helpful.
advantageous of you
Yep.
to sign up for this early, right? Log in all of your rounds. Make sure that you're getting in reviews and that you're doing your part. Because I would assume that, like, getting in there early, being one of the first ones in there, and being an active user will benefit you more than someone that's not. And getting a head start at that is going to benefit you with rewards, and it's going to benefit you with us noticing your activity. Like, there's going to be ways that, like, I always see that on the Barstool One Bite app, right? Like, whenever someone gives a review of a place, right, and you can see, like, the different types of people that give a review, I always go to the person that has more reviews because I just think that they're just more knowledgeable in the pizza game. If a guy has one review and he gave it a 10, or next guy has 87 reviews logged in and he gave it an 8.2, I'm like, all right, like, this guy actually knows a little bit more because he's been to more places, he uses the app. So let's do that with the Golf Time app. I am very excited to use it. I'm very excited to see where everyone else ranks their favorite courses and stuff like that. So let's get on it.
Boom, Barstool Golf Time. Go download it. Go use it. Go submit stuff. Make it an interesting, cool place to live. We're going to be in there all the time, posting our reviews anytime we play a golf course, so go check it out. The Augusta National Women's Amateur was awesome. It was a great little Saturday afternoon, early afternoon viewing. Anytime you get a good early look at Augusta National, it just feels great. You're seeing the holes. You're seeing what kind of shape it's in. You're seeing how green it is. You've been waiting all year for that. They go through the Florida swing, and you're just there always talking about, oh, he's trying to tweak on this for Augusta, and then you get to just see Augusta. Not only do you get to just see it, but you get to see amateurs, young women who are extremely talented, playing for such a big title that there were a few in the field who could have played in the A&A Inspiration, the legit major championship, that, chose to play in the amateur instead, because even though this is only the second running, they couldn't do it last year because of COVID. This thing has obviously become prestigious. It is at Augusta National. And you had a situation where the leader, who was the number one ranked amateur in the world, triples the 13th hole and all of a sudden brought everybody back in. I think at one point there was a 6-way tie for the lead with like 5 holes left in the back 9. Ended up going into a playoff. I can't even say Ennisbrook correctly, so the chance that I'm going to be able to say all of these names are very low. But I believe it's Tsubasa Kajitani, who won in a playoff, and she had a sick up and down on 18 after hitting in a fairway bunker and then almost holing out. It looked like she was going to win, and then ultimately won in the playoff. So that tournament continues to be a huge home run. There were fans out there, and you tune in, and again, you kind of get all the same shots they're used to getting, except it's like 13 plays a little bit cooler because they're hitting really long irons in, or hybrids, instead of some of the men now. When you watch, they're bombing over the trees. They have like Bubba Watson has like pitching wedge in. So it was very cool to see it from that respect. But she's a 17-year-old from Japan and won at Augusta National. It's extremely cool.
I want to apologize to Rose Zhang because I started watching this a little bit later, and the first hole that I watched was her on 13. It was the first thing I saw. I turned it on, and it was Rose Zhang standing on the tee on 13, and she just hooked her drive into the trees, and it was really, really bad, and she knew it right away. And then, once it was all told, it was a triple bogey on 13. So I just want to apologize. She's a stud. I know she's a stud. But in that moment, I feel like I let her down. So I want to apologize because that ended up costing her a chance to win, at the very least. Yeah,
at the end of the day, watching them play that course is so much more similar to us going out there and trying to play it when you speak about yardages. Right? Like, the pros are in such a different stratosphere that, like you're saying, on 13, if we played Augusta, we're not even taking the same line as them. We're not hitting the same irons as them. We're not doing what they're doing. But when you watch the lady golfers out there, it is exactly like the kind of lines we would take, right? I mean, they're piping the ball still, and they're getting it there where we would get it there. So it is really cool to see. Because we've always had those types of arguments and debates on, like, how would you maneuver your way around Augusta National? What kind of plays? Where do you play it safe? Where do you go for it? So shout out to them. What an awesome way to see the course for the first time. I mean, the amount better, man, that's just not a good sentence. it's so much better than it was in the winter
November?
or the fall, whatever you're gonna call it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's just back to just Augusta National, man. It was green as fuck. It was firmer. It was just divots looked like the real divots. There was no mud ball bullshit. It was very cool to see.
I think we can all now be honest with ourselves now that we're approaching the normal April Masters that we were all kind of lying a little bit when the November Masters was happening. Like, no, we like the brown spots all around the green. Like that stuff looks kind of cool. It's nice to see in a different light. And then you watch what we watched on Saturday and you're like, oh, no, I like this way, way, way more. And I like to see the course in April. Just November, it didn't look like shit, but there were parts of it where
Looked
you're
like
like,
shit. I hated
I mean, the
hated
12th
it.
green. The 12th green looked like one of the worst greens in the country during.
I was
It really
complaining
did.
about it during the stream every time we saw it. I said, I don't want that camera angle anymore. Stop showing. It was like looking at like your grandma naked or something. You're like, wow! Like, go back, like put on some clothes or something.
How many
Like,
times you done that?
well, no, I'm trying to think of like the worst sight of all time. Like,
Okay.
I mean, that was the first thing that popped in my head. But which I
That's
think we
pretty
could all
bad.
agree. Pretty
Ricochet
bad.
shot at
that would be
grandma's.
really
Yeah,
bad. The
but
hype
like,
was real though.
my
I remember
point is
running-
like, my point's like, oh man, like never again, go, like
Right.
burning my eyes. It's like the SpongeBob, my eyes, and it's fucking burning out.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't ever want to see that again. I want it to be perfect.
I think, nobody wants COVID again. So as long as we can avoid that, we should have a traditional Masters in April.
But I remember being genuinely excited about a November Masters, thinking about because remember, Frankie, when you photoshopped an orange jacket on Tiger Woods,
Which was
and,
awesome.
which was awesome. Like the idea of it was far cooler than what we actually got.
Yeah, and the
because
fall foliage and it, but it was
Right.
just like what we didn't anticipate was just the brown, shitty, soft conditions, which it's nobody's fault.
It was a
like
hurricane.
they put on a tournament that is better than them not putting on a tournament, and the best player won, and it was cool. Did it look like it's supposed to look on television? It sure didn't, and we didn't like that.
The rain fucked everything up. I really do think it would have been
true,
better
too.
without all that rain. The rain was a nightmare for that November Masters. So
That's true. A bunch of rain.
shout out to any amateur that can stand on 12 and hit a shot and just like
know.
not completely throw up and pass out and like not know what's
I have
going
a
on. Like
question.
that's such an intimidating hole.
I have a question.
What?
Would you be more comfortable standing over 12 or 17 at TPC Sawgrass?
I'd be more comfortable on 17.
Really?
Man,
Me too.
I think 12
Me
is
too.
such
Yeah.
a more approachable shot. Like in my brain, like it's just more doable to me. There's a I can just hit it long. I'll be fine. Man, 17 to me is like
I don't think you can just hit it long though. Like
Hold on, but are you saying like more comfortable? Like which hole would you be more apt to make a par on? 12 or 17? Because like comfortable, like Augusta is gonna up everything, but like
I just think the
17 is
look
a
of
harder golf hole.
right. I think both.
no, I don't think it is.
You don't think it is?
No. I think 12.
I would be interested in the
significantly harder.
tournament scoring average. Yeah, what is the tournament scoring average of the two
Wait.
holes?
Wait, so what's the question?
What's the
actual question?
Here's the question. Here's my answer, and I want to hear your guys. My question is, where would you feel more comfortable on the tee? First, it wasn't even the par thing. Lurch brought that in, but I'm just like, if you're standing on a tee and you got to get it onto the green, what looks more approachable to you? Where do you feel more comfortable? And to me, looking out at 12 is a little bit more like relaxing of a shot than looking out at 17 at TPC Sawgrass. That's my take. Like, you're looking at a fucking island green. You really can't hit that ball anywhere. At least at 12, like, all right, let's try and get through this nightmare of a wind tunnel, and we can get it up there on some grass.
What
I
I
guess
would
to me-
say is,
Go ahead, Rick.
just for me, 17 at Sawgrass is a much bigger green because it's just like a bigger area. It's not like angled like this. It's just a bigger, like straightforward area, and it's a wedge. It's like a gap wedge. It's like 130 or 120, 125, whatever. And the 12th at Augusta is like 145 to 155, so you're talking like a club or two difference, and I think that green's way harder to hit. And the quickest thing that I found was the 2019 scoring average at the 17th hole at TPC Sawgrass was 3.002, and the all-time cumulative scoring average is 3.28 on the 12th hole at Augusta. So
Considerably harder.
that's not exactly the same stat, but I would assume it's probably pretty similar overall. So it's
I
like
will say
almost point.
this year with the new green at 17 would have bowed, I think, in my
Yeah,
favor because those
true.
were things where like if
True.
the
It
cart
was
path
just a
flying out there-
trampoline and people were hitting in the
Right,
fucking
go
water.
on.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so Frankie, the only reason I changed it a little bit because like when you were saying more comfortable, it seemed like they were just like straight nerves on the tee. But because you're at Augusta, but I was boiling it down to like fundamentally, I'm still with you. I think 12 is just an easier hole for my eyes, and like
Yes.
I might not make a 3, but I'm going to make a 4 or something. Like where at 17, I might never finish when I miss the green and now I got to go over to that chipping area and chip across. Like I simply might just get the DNF 12 and like on you go.
I guess to me, 17, disaster's built into that hole. It's everywhere. So if you hit into the water, people would be like, yeah. Well, I'd be like, yeah, of course. There's fucking water. It's an island green. There's water everywhere. I just feel like 12 it's just more intimidating to me. And like you can, like even if you put it in the water, which I'm positive that I would do, and then you're doing the Spieth, and now you're just like a little closer, and then I feel like I'm going to be put in the water 100 times. For some reason, I think it's more, what am I trying to say? 17, everybody puts it in the water. I feel like if you're an amateur,
That
not
should make
everybody.
it so much more
But Trent-
nerve-wracking.
But
That should
that
make it
brings
so
not-
much more
no,
nerve-wracking.
though.
What do you mean? Like take what each of those courses are out of your brain forever. Don't even think
Impossible.
about it as Augusta, and don't even think about it as TPC, where prior shots have ever happened. You're the first person on either of those greens, of those tee boxes. You're telling me that you wouldn't rather hit a golf shot on 12 on that 12th hole? If that 12th hole was at fucking Eisenhower, it had none of the allure. You're telling me you would pick the island green over that one with bunkers up there to at least save your ball, and now you're just chipping and putting for an up and down par, as opposed to now you have to drop, still hit it over the water? Come on, man.
No,
it's
well,
an easier
you
shot.
can't-
It's an easier
you know,
shot.
you can't strip away everything. Then that makes no sense to argue it, because the allure, like we've been thinking about 12 at Augusta our whole lives. And then
I
you're
know,
like,
but
it's
that
you-
wasn't my
it's you on-
question.
it's you at Pebble when you hit your wedge 2 feet.
Right, but that shot specifically is very hard for me too, regardless of where the fuck I am. I can't hit a 75-yard knockdown fucking wedge. I can't do it. I just, you could give me that fucking thing anywhere in the world, and I'm still hitting it 3 feet. Is my point. But I just want to know, looking out, you have to pick 12. It's just easier on the eyes, the eye test. Am I crazy?
I don't think it is. Like I
Really?
think the green is so much bigger on 7. It's just like it's a pretty big landing area, and the green on 12 is like an hourglass where there's like a little strip that you can land it, and it runs diagonally, and it's like
the wind's going crazy. Nobody knows what's going on with the wind.
yeah, and you're like it's to me. I think that's way more uncomfortable. Like me feathering like a 9 or an 8 iron into that like bacon strip green that's like diagonal versus just plopping a wedge down into the middle of that green from 125 or 130. I feel more comfortable doing that. Now, I think the one time Trent and I played it, we both hit it in the fucking water on something.
Oh my god! I was just gonna say, when Riggs and I played it, I put 25 balls in the water. I'm not scared of that green anymore. I'm not scared of that hole. I've been through it on that hole. I know what goes on.
I've never been to TPC, but I just picture from watching on TV, like, all you see is water to me.
Yeah.
Like, on TV, all you see is water. I can't imagine how much water you see when you're on that tee box. I can't imagine. Left, right, short, deep. There's water everywhere.
I do
Alfonso
think
Ribeiro would shit on you for that comment. He'd be like, "No,
Alfonso Ribeiro, I don't care how fucking mentally strong you are, he sees the water on that hole.
Isn't there something to be said though that if you're looking at 12 and you think it looks more inviting, but you know that it's not, like you know that
Well,
it
I'll
is
give Riggs
inviting.
that green is like, I think Kiz has talked about that, where he's like, it's a fucking impossible green, right? He's like, it's one of the hardest ones he plays all year. But it's just, you don't know it. It's not.
I think this, which is crazy. I think our group scoring average, I think, would be higher on 17 at Sawgrass, but I think we would have cumulatively way more pars on that hole between all of us.
So you think like
If that sounds-
there's a room for just one or two,
Right. Like I think
tens.
when we blow it on 17, we're making really high scores. Where I think we'd be more likely to make some pars, but like our difference between the gap would be huge when we didn't just hit one on the green.
I'd be interested to know what the listeners are thinking right now, like as they're listening to this. Because I think a lot of people are going to be like, well, obviously standing at Augusta is so much more nerve-wracking than standing at a fucking TPC golf course. Like,
Yeah. I think that's probably right.
Right, and I think
But-
you have to. Obviously, you have to factor that in. You have to.
I'm just like, a lot of golf courses have replicated that 12th green at their own version of it, and it's just, you know, it's a
I know what
bunker,
you're
it's
saying,
two
like-
behind, it's if you hit it short, you're in the water, and it's like, you know what, let's just go after this fucking thing. You can go a little deep. Yeah, you're not going to be on that bacon strip of a green, but you're going to be in the rough, you're going to be in the bunker. Fucking
Yeah.
TPC, something that you'll never see again, right? Like, it's this round fucking trampoline, and pros like struggle to keep that thing on there. It's just, I don't know, man. I just, yeah, it's interesting. I'm picking 12 though.
Okay, that's fair. You'd rather play 12.
Yeah.
You're
Yep.
more comfortable. Okay, that's
If
fair.
I had to make a lower score going into, and they gave me an option, I'm picking
Yeah.
12.
You got it.
Riggs, you're picking 17.
Yes.
Oof.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is crazy. Like if you
How is that crazy? It's got a lower scoring average.
hold on. You're going say it's the 18th hole of whatever course. It's the 18th hole of Augusta. It's the 18th hole of TPC. You got to make a 10 to win the tournament. You just got to make a 10. You're telling me you're going over to the green with all water rather than there's a creek in front of it?
I got to make a 10 or better.
Yeah.
I'm picking 17 all day.
Oh, man, come on.
It's a wedge. It's just a wedge.
it's a
to
wedge that
big
you-
green.
It's a wedge that you have to hit on the green every time.
It's big. It's
Okay,
a
but
big
I'd rather
green.
hit a wedge that I have to hit on a green than a fucking 8-iron that I have to hit on a
the
green.
8-iron
my-
could,
yeah.
like, the 8-iron could just go up there somewhere.
But here, let me ask you this: if I'm in that back bunker on 12, you don't think I'm going in the fucking water and we're doing this whole charade from a couple strokes behind?
Right. I'm
That's
I'm
a
seeing
bad
no
spot.
bunkers out there, and I'm happy. I'm seeing no bunkers, and I'm thrilled. Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
it's all water, but I'm
you-
still happy.
Yeah, but like if you take that same missed shot on that you had on 17 that's wet and you take it on 12, you may be in a bunker. Like I'd rather than that bad shot be somewhere in a bunker than re-teeing from the same spot I just hit a bad shot and being in the water.
But here's what I think is that if let's say I just assume I hit it in the water on the first shot on both holes, then I have that speed shot where I still have to nip a wedge to that bacon strip green versus now I'm like 70 or 80 yards and I still have a giant green to hit it into the middle of. Like I don't know. I think I could just hit that fucking green eventually, and I'm not like that 12th green at Augusta it looks so awkward, and I just don't know that I could be confident hitting it.
I think if I
Anytime
had-
anyone hits that green on 12 at Augusta, I'm like that. I'm impressed. I'm
Oh, yeah.
super impressed by that.
I think
You know?
if I have that Spieth little nip shot, so the first one goes in the creek and I got to nip one in there, I think I actually look to hit the 13th tee box, and then at least I can chip down the green because I don't think there's any way in hell that I can nip one on the green. I think
Right, now we're
I would
talking
try
about
to
a
put
hole,
some over
Lurch.
there.
Talking about a hole where you're purposely trying to hit it on the next tee box because you're so
Yes.
intimidated by
Well,
the
because
green.
then you got a good angle coming back at the green. That's I'm just
Feels like
you know,
feels like it's about to be 3 against 1 here if we keep talking like this.
No. The fact that Riggs says to make it 10 or better, and he's gonna pick the hole that has 90% water instead of 10% water on the other hole is just. Then I'm talking to a psychopath. Then I'm talking to a guy that doesn't have it. His head.
No,
between-
because you guys you're doing the opposite approach of the Alfonso Ribeiro, where it's like I can just hit a decent shot, and my range of where that ball can land, the 17th green is significantly more friendly than the 12th green. So I would rather just take that one, and I get 3 wedges at it if I got to get to 10 shots. That like I can just stop one of those on the green before I can do it on the 12th green.
You know, a guy recently did make a 10 on 12, and his name was Tiger fucking Woods. So that's
right.
I mean,
He was
it's
the
a
defending
fucking
champion
hole.
at the time.
It's a hard hole.
To go back to an earlier point in this podcast,
I think I would have
said
beaten Tiger on that hole that day.
The 3-wood brings in more trouble. Yeah, the water brings in more trouble. I'm going the other way.
I think we have to go there. Hey, Augusta, invite us there so we can survey the grounds and we can
Right.
play it, because I do think that there are some mounds on 12, like the one that goes off to the right, it's so much more steep. Like just like the edge of the green. I think someone took a picture of it recently, maybe before the November Masters, and they're like, "You've never seen the 12th green from this angle," and it's just a fucking roller coaster. It's crazy. Like it's very hard.
And I'm like, what I'm thinking is like, dude, 5 of the last 6 guys to come through the final group 2 years ago in the Masters, like, hit it in the water. So you're acting like there's no water on 12. Like, people hit it in the water all the time on 12.
It's true. But Frankie, are you talking about 11, the big hill on 11? Or are you talking about 12?
On 12. I'm going to have to find this picture.
Big slope, like, front of the green.
Big slope front of the green. If you look at it from the bottom of that slope, like, yeah, on TV it looks like somewhat severe, but when you're there, it's...
This was where Frankie can flip. Frankie can flip in a moment.
No, I'm still picking.
Frankie. I know we can turn Frankie.
I'm still picking 12.
If you talk to Frankie long enough, he'll flip. It's like you just have to wait him out.
The one point that I made about like how it's a repeatable hole and like a lot of architects have like used that idea and like it's somewhat of a more common look from the tee box. I'm taking that all day than the thing that probably keeps people up at night, just an island green. But that's my idea.
We've been counting down the days to Masters Week since November 16, 2020, and this week it's finally here. One of our favorite parts of the Masters, checking out what everybody's wearing. We obviously get all into the script game. Everybody gets into that. Peter Millar did not disappoint this year with their new spring styles. Our friends at Peter Millar have scripted the four of us in new threads for the first major of 2021, and we could not be more psyched about our shipments. We got Harris English, Hudson Swafford, Lee Westwood. They're going to be in Peter Millar gear. Lee Westwood, I've talked about how good he looks these days and how he's never looked better. Peter Millar is a huge part of that. I'm telling you, folks, we've got performance polos, we got lightweight mid-layers and sweaters, the EB66 5-pocket pants, which is the best pant in the world, and every other Crown Sports style that has been optimized to take on golf's biggest stage this week. We are legitimately scripted. We have scripted outfits that Peter Millar has come up with that have they're wrapped with a bow on top, and we pull them out, and it's like, this is your Thursday outfit, Riggs.
I'm very excited. Everybody knows that I hate having to pick out what to wear so much that I've been wearing the same thing for the past 4 years. So to have someone script out what I'm going to wear for 4 straight days, that's 4 days where I don't have to think about anything. And I really, really appreciate it. And a big bonus is that it's Peter Millar. It's going to be some of the most comfortable clothes I've ever worn. It's a win-win for me no matter what.
Peter Millar is incredible. I mean, even this button down, Peter Millar. It's like stretchy. It's the only thing that you can really put on your body is Peter. It's so nice, and I will say the colors pop. That's I think the biggest.
They do pop.
That's the biggest plus for the brand. I honestly think is their colors are different and they pop. And when you see somebody wearing Peter Millar, you're like, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit cool.
Yeah, and look, right now it's a Sunday evening. Anybody could be wearing. We could choose to wear whatever we would like. Lurch for his Easter's got this button down on. He chose Peter Millar. Trent's got pants on. They're the EB66 5-pocket pants. Peter Millar. I got a Peter Millar quarter zip on. Frankie's got a quarter zip that he rocked to Easter Sunday. It's just what we choose to rock. And you go to petermillar.com/4. You're going to receive free shipping and a complimentary gift with a purchase. You go to petermillar.com/4. You see a lot of the styles that we like. It's all listed on there, the whole collection of Peter Millar spring products. petermillar.com/4. You get free shipping and a complimentary gift with purchase. You are welcome. We're about to get to a few master stories. First, we just got to briefly touch on the A&A Inspiration, the first major of the year. The women, we had Lydia Ko, who came roaring back on Sunday. I think she ended up posting a 10 under. I think she shot 9 or 10 under today. I think she shot 10 under today, 62. Came up a couple shots short. Patty, who there's no way I can say her last name properly. I've been listening to these people on TV. It's like Tavana. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me think about this. Give me
Tavada Knockett.
Tavada it's one of those where Knockett.
It's one of those where you just got to run. You got to sprint into it.
You got to run through it. Sprint downhill.
Tavada
Knockett. You nailed
like Frank. Yeah, there you go.
It's like fucking Office Space, man. It's just you really have to break it out. Every time I have trouble saying a word, I do exactly what he does in Office Space. Tavatanakit.
That's right.
Tavatanakit. You have to do that. You have to speak it away. And now I could be wrong. Someone could be listening to us being like wrong every time we do it. But that's our interpretation.
Like I said, I can't even say insurance. I can't say, so there's a lot of things I can't say. Patty goes out with a 5-shot lead today, shot 4 under on her own ball, and barely won the tournament. Barely won by a couple. So incredibly gutsy rookie on the LPGA Tour. Won. They got the cool 18th hole there, but they didn't have the grandstands this year, so players couldn't just fire it into the grandstands as like a backboard. So it made it a little trickier. But when you have that big of a lead, and she was able to hang on, play a great round, and got it done. But Lydia Ko being back is amazing. She's only 23, has like 15 wins on tour, a couple majors. She won her first event, I believe, when she was 15 years old, and then lost it, kind of going through like swing coaches and firing caddies, and everyone's a little bit like, what the hell's going on here? On the same day that Spieth's back, she kind of reemerged a bit. Hasn't won since I think 2018, and was world number one I think when she was like 17 years old. Shot 62 today and made a little bit of a run. So very cool to see, and just a ton of action in the world of golf today. Which again, we're always all for, and it was like you're fucking looking. You got the Augusta National Women's Amateur, then you got Spieth making a charge going against Charlie Hoffman, then you got the Inspiration, you got a major championship coming down to the wire. So golf's hot right now, and we haven't even started Masters week yet, so it's very exciting.
Was Lurch dabbling in the drive, chip, and putt competition today? I saw you firing off a couple lurchy tweets.
Actually, speaking of Twitter, I just saw Tiger tweet it, which is always exciting to see, about 27 minutes ago, congratulating the Stanford women's basketball team. Just nice to see Tiger's active. He's doing stuff, because I know that's definitely him tweeting. And then, yeah, I was watching the drive, chip, and putt challenge. The one thing that if you saw the tweet, they could pick up the pace of play. That was the only bugaboo, is we're taking, I would say, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes to roll a putt. That's a little lengthy. I know it's a big moment. It's the one putt. That's all they kind of get. But 2 minutes, I think they should have a shot clock in that to coach them on, yes, this is a fun game to play, but we don't have to take all day to do it. So that was my only one bugaboo that you saw. Do you think that's fair, or what do you think, Frank?
No, I think that's crazy.
I think. What, you think it's crazy that you want to put a shot clock on them?
Yeah, I think this is the whole thing, is they go out and hit a putt. That's like the whole part. So you're telling me they bring you out to Augusta National. You're finally out there. You got 2 putts on the 18th green. You have never been on the fucking 18th green before in your life. You got all these people watching. You're on television, and you're telling people to hurry. It's the only thing that they do all day. They're just going to hit putts. So you're going to rush through it. You're going to literally rush through it.
I'm not saying hurry. I'm just saying we don't have to wait.
Shot clock by definition hurries people. I think that's literally what it is.
Well, then then I'm saying hurry. If that's the way your brain goes,
stand your ground.
Huh?
Yeah. Stand your ground on it. Because it does take a while.
Yeah, you guys are both in the court of law right now, and I'm the judge, and I'm going to see. Right now, I'm leaning hard towards Riggs' side.
And Frankie, you were on my side right out of the gate.
No, I didn't.
No, he was just hearing all arguments. He was hearing you had opening statement. I was able to have a bit of a closing statement there.
So all the playing participants are standing on the hill. They watch every putt of the people in front of them, every one. And then they get up and they do the same thing. They put the ball in the same area, and then they go through their whole routine, which takes 2 minutes. I think that's ridiculous. I think this is absolutely ridiculous.
Let's say, so like, you know how we always do that, would you take a putt from 5 feet for like $10 million if you know that, like, if you miss it, you get shot in the head?
Yeah.
Like, to these kids, like that, there's a guy standing there with like a gun to their head because it's everything in their life at that moment. Like, if you had that 5-foot putt or whatever it was, would you take fucking all the time in the world to read that thing? I think you would, especially since it's the only thing they do that day. They hit a couple putts at Augusta National. You got to give them that time to read that. It's their turn to get onto the green. They need that time to assess.
So we're playing a 4-man scramble. I'm last to putt. I see you 3 idiots go first. You putt, putt, putt. I see the line. I see the speed. We're putting from the same spot. You think I'm going to take another 2 minutes, even if there is a guy, if I miss this putt, that's going to shoot me in the brain because I miss it? No, I'm not taking another 2 minutes.
Especially if the 4-man scramble is like the biggest thing you've ever done in your life and there's not going to be another one. And like there would have to be like a Tiger Woods 4-man scramble to win on 18, and like you're standing up there being like, you're just gonna step up just because you saw Trent's fucking putt, and you're gonna be like, all right, I'm just gonna go, or are you gonna walk around the fucking hole and be like, I have a chance to win now?
It's also crazy to call. It's also crazy to call reading a putt in a scramble when you're standing directly behind a person and you've been able to walk around it is very different than like these people use their feet to like look at the contours and get a feel for the contours. Where's it uphill? Where's it downhill? They've been standing on the side of the green. Now it's their time to shine. They're gonna go out there and do their routine. Like if Tiger Woods, when Tiger Woods is playing in a golf tournament and he watches somebody putt on his same line, does he then not do the full 360 around the ball because he already saw somebody putt there?
So how long's too long for you? At some point, or is there nothing that's too long for you?
Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
I mean, nothing within
I'm gonna start calling you JB Holmes.
Well, why? That doesn't make any sense.
I think a kid could just end up getting a reputation for being outrageous if he takes 10 minutes to read a putt. Like everyone there would be like, this kid's an asshole. But I don't think that you can set a standard for pushing the time along for the rest of the crew. I would
say, all right, so what's plenty of time to read a putt and make your decision?
This 2-minute thing, I think you just made up. There's no proof that they were taking 2 minutes to read the putt.
T-Daddy, did you watch it? It sounded like you did. I would say
there's no chance they took 2 minutes.
No way. 2 minutes is just made up. Nobody was taking 2 minutes. I watched the whole thing. Every time I looked, they were ripping putts left and right.
This is where it hurts in the quarter law because you got to have facts.
One kid probably took a while that Lurch saw. It was in between bites of his fucking. What'd you eat today?
Oof. I'll tell you. I started out with probably, I'll take 25 jelly beans to start the day. and then I had pancakes, eggs, and I probably had 10 strips of bacon this morning. My brother and I were just like vultures as his wife cooked up just a fantastic breakfast. Then from there,
Frankie earlier was bragging about 10 strips of bacon, and that was like a throw-on to Lurch's breakfast. He had
right.
After 25 jelly beans and a stack of pancakes.
There were so many little chocolates around. These little peanut butter chocolates. Oof, boy, that was really good. So I don't know. I had a couple more of those, and then we left. And what did I do? Went to the ocean, jumped in the water. Then I came back, went to my mom's place, had a chicken breast or two. Had a little salad. Had like 3 big things of bread that were really nice. Do you want me to keep going here?
No, I'm so over what Lurch ate today.
Yeah.
So
It's over.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you'd just say like the dinner.
No.
He went through the whole day. The only thing I saw from the drive, chip, and putt was, and a lot of people were tweeting about this, was the swing of Yana Wilson. It was a clip that people were tweeting on Twitter. Just a majestic swing. Like a swing that all 4 of us would kill to have. It's perfect.
Yeah, I saw. I tuned in like at one point the like 15 or 16-year-old boys were hitting their drives and they were hitting it like 275 and I was like, all right, what are we doing here? But yeah, I mean,
before we. Oh no, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Trent. Please.
I thought we were moving on to the Masters stories, and I would be remiss if we didn't say that Brooks looks like he's going to play the Masters.
Brooks with a great tweet, because we were all kind of going off the Brad Faxon where he said he was like walking the range and heard that Brooks's injury was like 6 to 8 months he's going to be out, and he just quote tweeted that with the Michael Jordan from the documentary, where what did it say? Like I
took that personally.
There you go. Where he tweeted that. So Brooks kind of doing his thing where he finds fuel for major championships and sounds like he's healthy. He had fucking kneecap surgery March like 16th or something. That was like yesterday.
Yeah, that's super impressive.
I saw Ron had his kid too, so I assume he's playing. He's playing. That's confirmed?
I don't think confirmed, but it's certainly looking better than it was. He's not going to leave the tournament in the middle of it anymore.
He's got to be playing.
He's got to be playing. He's a favorite to win the thing. He's gonna be locked and loaded with the stress of the kid out. Hopefully everything's healthy and happy, and he can just leave for a couple days, and he's got to play. I mean,
I'm not a father, but like you saw the thing come out, you took a couple pictures, and then he's fine now. He just goes and plays. I mean,
someone tells a joke about that. I don't know if it was like Louis C.K. or Bill Burr, but it's like everyone asks like, "How's the baby?" It's like, yeah, it's just still a baby. Like, what do you expect me to answer? Like, oh yeah, she got fired from Target last week, and it's just like, what do you expect that answer to be?
The baby is just laying there sleeping and crying. That's just
barely surviving. Like has to be carried everywhere. It's just. Before we get to these stories, because I know we're moving on, I have some breaking news in my world. I had my last roller hockey game, and I had 0 goals, and we had set the over under. What was it? Half a goal, I believe.
Yeah.
Lurch and Riggs came down on the 2 hockey guys. Went into the last game of the regular season, and I said in the office, we were editing behind the greens, and I looked at Trent in the eye, and I said, I'm scoring a goal tonight. I sat down, getting ready for the game. I looked at my teammates. I said, I will score a goal tonight. I called it, Babe Ruth style. I said, I will. I went out there. I fucking was on top of my game. I was chipping pucks in deep. I was playing good defense. And what do you know? I get a puck at the red line. I dish it off to our best player. He takes it in on a 2-on-1, rips a shot off the goalie. I come crashing into the net. Backhand, top shelf, goal. I fucking went crazy, man. Arms in the air. I give a little woohoo! And I'm just like, it went in. And everyone was happy. We lost the game, but I didn't give a fuck, man. Like, sorry to my team that's listening to this. Like, dude, after the game, you want to know how happy I was that I scored a goal? They gave my goal on the score sheet to like some random other player because it's just some idiot in between the penalty boxes that does the clock and does the scoreboard and has no clue what's probably going on out there. So he gave it to like another random player that wasn't even there that day. So I texted our goalie who just lost a tough game, like he's our captain, like where he does all the scheduling. I'm like, hey man, you mind like hitting those guys up and just getting me. Just correcting that stat line for a second because they don't have me as a goal. They have this guy, and he's just like, yeah, man. Like, this kid just got his, like, pads off. He lost, like, a tough one. Like, we, like, gave up on him at the end. It's just, like, I was glowing walking up to him, being like, you just got to change that. Like, I need my goal. So, yeah, that's it. If Herb Brooks asked me, who do I play for, I'm saying Frankie Borelli.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
It sounds like you had, like, an awesome time with it, and I love because I'm picturing in my head because – you can kind of skate, right? But you can't really skate. So
I can. I just
the way you said it's like I threw a crisp pass to our best player. He goes in and now then like I was like, all right, that's the image of like good hockey. And then I see you just like fumbling in there and just like slap the thing.
Yeah. No, it was actually smooth. It was smooth. I wish there was a fucking video of it. I'm surprised they don't have like a running cam on these two fucking rinks, but I guess they just don't give a fuck.
Did you throw the body up against the glass after you score?
I didn't. I did a turnaround like, oh my God, that just went in. I was so happy. It's such a cool feeling.
It's great.
It's the coolest feeling.
It's the best feeling in sports.
And highs and lows real quick. I went from that to then later on in the game, ended up getting an assist. So it was a big goal too. It was like we were down 4-2, got us to 4-3. I was like, let's fucking go. I get an assist after. It's like 6-4. And I'm in the corner, and I'm just so weak and frail and feminine that some dude lifted my stick, and the stick went over the glass and into the netting and rolled down the netting and went into just some part of, like, the lobby. And the ref looks at me and goes, Frankie, are you fucking kidding me? Like, the guy just lifted my stick, and it went maybe 25 to 30 feet in the air. And they're like, you gotta hold on to that thing.
And I just have no grip strength.
At that point, I guess I just wasn't holding on to the stick that hard, and it just was. That skate back to the bench holding nothing, and everyone like, what just happened, was pretty embarrassing. So the fact that happened in the same game is very on brand.
What was the team's record? What did you guys close out?
I think
you had a good goalie and you had a good couple players, I feel like.
I could be wrong, but maybe like 3-6. But I think the first win we ever had was this franchise's first win of all time. So like we're on the up and up. We have a playoff game, not this Monday, the next Monday, against a team we've beaten, the Misfits.
You made a play. You're 3-6. Is it everybody?
Yeah, I think like maybe a couple teams don't make it, but like the competition, like the top teams just win every single game. So I was assuming the guys who got a couple wins got in. So
gotcha.
We'll see. I don't know how it all works, but I'm. It doesn't matter. I'm.
You're still on cloud nine. You're a goal scorer.
I'm a goal scorer. Final stat of season: 7 games played, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points. That's it.
All right.
Not bad.
Roller hockey.
Not horrific for your first time.
Okay.
All right. We got master stories, folks. We asked for people to submit master stories. We took forever to get to this part of the show, so I don't know how many we're going to get through. But let's hear them. Most guys have obviously tried different ways to last longer in bed. Something that we've discussed. Lasting longer in bed is great, isn't it, gentlemen?
Yes, it's a thing you want to just keep happening.
You just want to keep having the sex, right?
Yep. You just want to do it, and you want to do it as much as you can and as long as you can. That's just what life is really. I mean, if you think about history and everything, like it seems as though that is one of the things that have happened over and over and over again, right?
It's certainly one of the main motivators of anything. For anything
Of anything.
to get done, people want to have
Of
sex,
everything,
and
really,
they-
almost pretty much everything.
Try to think of like if whatever you believe in or whatever, it's just like the first thing that happened to just like make the world what it was, and like it's driven the rest of the world for everything.
Everything. I was going to hedge a little bit, but I would say it's everything, and the reason is because it's great and people want it to last as long as it possibly can. Yeah.
Well, if you kind of come early and you're one of those losers, well, then Roman's going to help you out, and they're going to make you feel not like a loser, because they have come out with, and they are a men's health company, they are changing the game with Roman swipes, which are a clinically proven way to last longer in bed. They are effective, they're easy to use, they're fast-acting, they do not require a prescription. They ship swipes to you in discreet, unmarked packaging, and each swipes packet is small enough to hide in your wallet for whenever you need it. They're super easy to use. You go to GetRoman.com/Fore, and you will get your first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. That is GetRoman.com/Fore. You get your first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. GetRoman.com/Fore.
How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Doing well. I appreciate the consideration from the email. I didn't know if you guys would actually believe me or not, but I'm happy to talk.
Where'd your video go? Did you turn your video off?
It's off because I'm in shitty lighting in my apartment. I mean, it's
Gotcha.
your call. If you're happy with me just audio, then that works for me. But if you really need me on video, I can do my best.
No, audio's
No
fine.
big deal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
You sound great. Who's your pick for the Masters?
Tough not to pick Jordan after today. Momentum's with Jordan. I would also say, I got to say, JT, I would take as a strong pick. I think he started off the year hot. He's been through a little bit of a cold streak, but you can't rule out JT ever.
He's just due, right? Like he's ready to win a Masters.
He has to.
He's done
He's got
everything.
it. He's been too close.
Yeah, he's been too close, and he's done everything that he needs to do to be ready to win a Masters. I feel like he's been under pressure, and he's just gone so much. He's gotten so much better in his career with consistency, and he's just always at the top. He needs to win a Masters at some point, and he will.
Yeah, I agree with that, dude. He's got the PGA, he's got the players, and he was sick at the Ryder Cup. Remember that when he was like our guy at the Ryder Cup? Like those are, if you could do that, you can win the Masters.
Yep.
I think you get Tiger on site. I think if Tiger's on site and no one knows it and JT knows it, then he's going to have that Tiger spirit with him all week. I'm waiting for
Tiger
that.
shows
In
up for the
clubhouse,
Champions
he's
dinner?
prowling in the Champions locker room. That's my hopeful conspiracy.
Dude,
theory that
imagine
Tiger's
if Tiger
sitting.
shows up for the Champions dinner. It's not going to
On
happen.
crutches?
I know
On
it's not going to
crutches?
happen, but I just imagine if that actually happened, that'd be incredible.
Do you think it's crutches or a wheelchair?
Crutches.
Wheelchair.
I think it's wheelchair, which is
I think
sad.
if he's wheelchair, he's not showing up.
Right.
Right, he can't show. I hope he doesn't show with wheelchair.
Or you hope as soon as he walks onto the grounds at Augusta, he's healed.
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
That's yes. I see that. I'm
Like
into.
like John Locke when he landed on the island and lost, he can just walk. He can just walk now.
Yes, when he wakes up after the plane crash and his legs just work. Yeah,
That's what it's like when Tiger gets onto the grounds at Augusta. Anyway, let's get into the stories.
Let's hear it. What's your give us an Augusta experience? We're excited for Masters Week.
Likewise, no, and this every single year, it's the one story I tell my friends who know about this that it's the story I have for my lifetime. So I'm happy to share it. And that I've been to Augusta, I've been to the tournament once, and then I say I've also been again. So the long story short is that years ago, snuck onto Augusta and didn't get caught. Just drove away scot-free, but had some merchandise with me. So
How'd you sneak on? How'd you sneak on?
And that's why his
Yeah, so-
camera's not on, by the way.
I mean,
Smart.
there's a reason why, Frankie. I'm sorry. That's why I'm like, I hope you guys are here for me, because I promise you there's people to validate it. But
All right, hold on. Walk us through exactly how you did it.
all right. So got off I-20 down in South Carolina / Georgia, right at the line, about 11:30 at night.
On the Google
Had a friend on the phone, because at the time I didn't have a smartphone, so I had no way of getting directions or knowing really where I was going. So I had a friend on the phone. This was after multiple attempts of trying to call friends, and every single one, being college roommates, were all too drunk to actually help me out. So I finally got a friend on the phone who was able to help me on their laptop got me directions, parked. So I'll get to it. So parked on the, let's see, probably southeast side. So like south side of property, there's a neighborhood over there, and just found a fence that had a little bit of barbed wire, but with a tree right next to it. So I kind of shimmy my way up over as I'm on the phone, and they're directing me to this road. They say, yeah, this, it looks like a service road that goes into the golf course. So I hop over and kind of just scurry into the woods and go along that road and come up on what is now, I know, the flower nursery. And then this huge road going up into the course. There's two roads. There's a fork, one that goes left and then one that goes right and kind of disappears into the woods. So I sprinted up the right side and sprinted up what felt like a freaking mountain. And so it's probably about midnight, 12:15 at this point, and moon is luckily out, so I can kind of see a green to my left and a tee box to my right.
This is crazy.
I have no idea.
I mean, you're going to get arrested now. Good thing you're not showing your face.
No, let him go. Let him keep going.
I'm like nervously looking around my room to see if anyone's like listening to this. Like
well,
outside. Meanwhile, we're on a podcast.
We're just doing it. So I go to the top of this hill, green on my left, tee box on my right, and of course my thought is like, oh, there's going to be hole signs. Like, no, there's not. It's freaking Augusta. I should have been smarter than that. But so I have no idea where I am, and being so nervous, I can't put my bearings in place here of where I am. So walk towards the green. Like, first thing I do is just kind of put my hands on the fringe. I'm scared to touch the actual green. Like, I know what's happening. I'm actually just scared to touch it.
It's crazy.
So I'm like, okay, I got to find out where I am. So I'm around a green with no bunkers. So I walk backwards down this fairway, kind of along this wood line. The helicopter flies over, and I'm like, oh shit! Like, I'm caught. They're looking for me. Spotlight's coming. So I duck under at like the base of a tree. It was absurd. I look back on
the
it.
Hunger Games.
Absurd.
And you're a felon at this point. Like, you are
right.
avoiding.
You're risking your life.
You're avoiding
Let's
helicopter.
keep saying it.
Jordan.
Let's keep repeating it. I like it.
All right. So then
so-
what do you do?
So coming down the fairway, come out kind of from the woods, and I see this green with 4 huge bunkers behind it. They're separated by this kind of pine straw and bushes. So there's 2 bunkers left, bushes, which are usually azaleas, and then 2 bunkers right, creek in front. I'm like, where the hell am I? And then all of a sudden I realize I'm standing in the midst of Amen Corner, staring at 13 green. And so I kind of walk down. I walk to the right. You guys have been to Augusta, so you know on the right where all the players walk is the bridge going across Race Creek. And so I walk across that bridge, go up around the bunkers into the bushes separating those bunkers. The flag is in the Sunday pin, which to me, I'm now at this point just laughing because this is too good to be true. This can't be it. So I'm sitting there on the phone still, which should have been the death of me. Of like, my phone is on. There's like a signal pinging on Augusta. I'm gonna get caught. So I'm like, well, while I'm here, I put the phone down, take my shoes off, out of respect, of course. Walk out onto the green, take the pin out, come back into the bush, like disappear into the bush. Phone is on speaker. Like, I have a pin. I don't know why I did this, but I have it. So I just unscrew it, take the flag off, screw it back on, put 13 pin back in the hole, empty. There's no flag on it now. Roll up the flag. At this point, there's lights kind of behind there because the walkway leads up to the new like merchandise area up top of that hill. So there's lights that are there. So I scurry out of there and then go back up. I'm like, you know what? I'm here. I'm going back the same route, but I know exactly where I am now. I got to go to where Phil hit his shot out of the pine straw, out of the trees, where he hit it to shit. I don't know. It was like a foot or 2 feet or something on Sunday. You guys, I'm sure, know the shot. But
Yeah.
So pine straw from there, put that stuff out of my pocket. So now I've got a flag, pine straw, and I did go from some sand from 13 bunker in my pocket. And now I'm just walking back up, go back across, and come back towards now what I know is 11, where I crossed running up the hill.
Right.
And so I'm staring down at 11 green, 12 green, which was lit up. No, don't know what Augusta was doing, but it was lit up. So can't speak to that. But then got the hell out of there. I couldn't get out. Once I realized where I was, what I was doing, that I couldn't spend any more time because God forbid I spend one more second. Like, I've gotten this far, I'm not going to risk it. And
No way.
scurried back out, drove where I was driving, and that was that.
So I urge everybody who just listened to that to go back to the start and do it on Google Maps because it's riveting listening, but actually going it unless you've told this story 1,000 times and you're just lying, it adds up. I mean, they're like everything that you walked me through. I
don't know what you guys want me to do to promise, but I can assure you that
Look,
there's
this is
multiple
on this
friends
show.
who
You
can
say anything, we just believe it, so it's totally
sure.
fine.
That's
You still have you stole the flag. You have the flag still.
it's my most prized possession that I have in my life.
Oh
period.
my God.
I still have, so I put the sand and the pine straw in a McDonald's cup because it's the only thing I had in my car to actually get out of my pocket and store it. So it's still in a McDonald's cup, and I wrote in Sharpie on it on that night. And I will say, time wise, I probably got off the course at like 1:15.
So, what I'm curious, were you like I was petrified as I was visualizing what was happening, that a security guy was just gonna walk up on you or roll up on you, and you're fucking toast at that point. Like like the fact that you kept like dipping again and again and again back into it, were you not petrified, or were you just on cloud a million?
I mean, I was on the phone, so I had someone who was kind of, talking me down, quote unquote, but that still didn't help. I was absolutely petrified. Every plane that went over, every helicopter, because it's right, Augusta National Airport's like right down there. So it's like planes flying over, every noise, I'm looking up and petrified, like shaking, sweating, you name it, the nines. And no, I mean, when you like it was said, if you look on Google, it's like you go down and then back up and back over. It was like just one direct route. I just so happened to take the one route that led me to where all of this took place. I had no bearings whatsoever. Watching the tournament for years, everything. You'd think I know it right off the top of the bat, but I didn't, being so freaking nervous. And then it just was straight line down, straight line up. I ended up cutting over towards 11 because that's where I'd come in, and went the same route back. And that was that.
You're a crazy person. Have you always been the crazy guy of your friends? Like, have you always been the guy to push the envelope, or was this just like a one-off for you?
Completely opposite of what it would normally be. It was a total one-off. Like,
what drove you to do it? What drove you to be like
driving? I was driving like 12 hours down 20 and had a call with someone I interviewed with and got a job offer. So I'm like, hell yeah, I just got this job offer. Life is good. Oh my God, I'm driving through Augusta, going back north. Like, I've never been to Augusta. I might as well drive by property and see what this is like. And then I'm 20 miles away thinking, what if I could just kind of walk around like the perimeter? And so I called what I thought were my college roommates who wouldn't answer, or they answered but were incoherent. And then got my friend on the phone who they directed me through, like, oh, here's where you can park and get kind of close, or maybe you could see this. And then that's when I got out of the car and realized, oh, there's a really low fence here with a little barbed wire and a tree right there. I can just kind of shimmy. So total one-off. Never again would I ever dream or think that this could happen.
Yeah, all like your like emotional and like logical bonds were just off in your body that day because of what was going on with your job. And you just weren't you. Like nobody would do that.
The job thing is more stunning to me, that like you got this job offer, you're on cloud 9, and you're driving through Augusta, and then it's like, let's try and go get arrested. Like job gone. Like, I don't like, how is that? I would think that you were at a point in life where nothing else mattered, where you were like, I'm going to go out there, and if I get shot on the 12th green, I don't care. Like, I'm thinking that was like a mission where you didn't give a fuck.
Right. You would have thought he got fired that day.
Right. Like, you know what? Like, my life is at a point where even if I get arrested at this golf course, it was worth it. The exact opposite.
That was pretty much the thought. That's what it felt like at the moment, was like, you know what? If this happens, I've made it to this point. Like, this is still a story. And I had no regard of, yeah, cool. An hour ago, I just got a call that I got this job. It just completely left my mind. I couldn't tell you, Frankie, seriously. Couldn't tell you.
I want to say you're an absolute fucking psychopath, but that's a hell of a story. I mean, you are an absolute psychopath. Yeah. Let's just get that. Let's get that.
Great story.
Plain and simple. Great story.
You agree with that, right?
I can't not. I mean,
right.
how could I reasonably say that I'm not a psychopath for doing that? This was also years ago, so I'm like, okay,
yeah,
maybe things have changed since then. I can't say anything close to that has ever happened since. Period. I mean,
that's fair. Like,
you talk about peaking. That's peaking right there. That's peak psychopath.
And listen, I mean, everyone does something that you're like. I mean, you were in college at the time. Like, it's just, yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. That's just a crazy fucking story. I can't wrap my head around how I feel about it. I'm obviously in shock. I mean, my jaw was on the ground listening to that story.
I did see you looking around the room, and I was laughing out loud over here. I quasi-muted for a second of just
dude,
Frankie's freaking out.
At one point, I'm like, is this guy saying this on this podcast? I was like,
right.
it like hit me halfway through. I think there's actually a moment where it hit. You weren't even saying the crazy part of the podcast where I was just like, "Oh my god, this is real. This is live." Like almost essentially.
You guys
Fuck.
asked for a story, and it's been years, and people know about it, and you asked for a story, so I thought I'd throw the hat in the ring.
What? Yeah. What? Yeah. Wow.
That is a good story. That's a good story.
You're our first.
Are we now?
Are we accessories? Are we accessories?
Yeah, are we accessories of this now?
Are we? What is it? Complicit?
Yes, that was the word.
I
We're
do.
not complicit. We didn't say it was a good idea. We just said it happened.
We have to turn this kid in now.
Can we protect ourselves and not get his information?
I'm going to be honest here. I'd appreciate if you didn't.
Are you a serial golf course stealer of flags, where like you are a menace to society to the point where if we do not turn you in, that like other golf courses are at risk of you jumping over barbed wire and stealing the 13th holes from them? Like I don't
the total opposite. I collect them,
good.
But when I play, or I haven't.
What does that mean?
I've been to places where it's like, okay, when I play and go into the golf shop after.
Okay, Jesus. I'm like thinking this kid on 18 just fucking and just puts it in his fucking pocket. Holy smokes. Do you have that flag in like a glass casing or?
It is well framed and well protected. Yeah, for sure.
Is the sand still in the McDonald's cup?
Yeah, I haven't figured out what to do with that. I don't know how to do that with the pine straw. So it's still original McDonald's cup with the Sharpie on it. Still there.
I can't remember.
Dumb question, but same flags as they used during the tournament, right?
During the tournament, no. Different flag. Members and regular play has a different flag then, because you look at the tournament, it's Masters flag, it's the Masters logo. It's a different flag, different material.
Jesus.
What's the flag look like? What is it?
It's yellow. I mean, it's a softer yellow than the bold yellow that they use for the Masters, but it's a softer yellow. It says Augusta National Golf Club, and it's got, their logo, but it's smaller. It's not just the logo and that's it, but there's actual writing that's Augusta National Golf Club, and it's
wow.
I'd say it's like a thinner material than the regular Masters flags. Although I have a collector's Masters flag that's totally different, but that's also just the sale one.
Yeah,
I don't know what
it just says Masters on it with the actual
with the year.
I mean, you'd have to pay me. I don't know if there's a number that you would tell me that like you have to do this tomorrow night. Like, I think it's a no.
Have you been to? I can't remember what you said. Have you been to the tournament since then? Have you been on the grounds during tournament time?
I went to the tournament after that happens.
And were you walking around like I'm gonna get disappeared? They're gonna somehow realize who I am, and they're gonna throw me out of here.
1,000%.
Yeah, dude, I bet.
1,000%. I went and was. I mean, I'm trying to hide places, and it's among thousands of people thinking they're going to absolutely, facial recognition. It's Augusta. I'm like, they've got every technology under the sun. They have to have some kind of facial recognition. If I'm on some watch list, then I'm going to get caught. And I'm like, well, I got to go and I can't turn it down because it's the tournament and it's during the day, which was kind of nice to see it during the day. But
you're a lunatic. You're a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
You're
amazing.
Just,
it's amazing the
crazy
next day
person.
they didn't show up, see the 13 flag was taken, and then do everything they can to find out how that was taken, because that's just not a misstep. Like they were taken out back by you taking your shoes off, and you stole their fucking flag. And I cannot believe that they didn't go back and do like infrared scanning of like the fucking ground to get the impressions of your feet, and then send that to like every hospital in the world and see if it matches up with like, you know what I mean? Like I think that they would go to no end to make sure that whoever snuck on was caught.
this is definitely not helping at all.
No, this is probably the worst decision you made.
I was just going to say that too. Other than sneaking onto Augusta National, which is a psychotic decision, stealing the flag, a psychotic decision, you've now decided to call into a golf podcast that has many listeners, and now the world knows your story.
Why'd you take your shoes off?
Respect. It's Augusta National. I can't be walking all over the place in dirty shoes. I mean, that's not my place to do that. I respect the game. I respect golf.
Did you carry them? Did you carry them? Did you carry your shoes around?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I put the shoes back on walking around, but when I got close to a green, the shoes came off. But
you had wet socks walking back into the car, just disgusting, wet, grassy, dirty feet. Put them back on.
Yep, you got it.
Truly amazing story. I mean, jaw dropping.
Good story.
Can't believe this is
Good
the
story.
first one we're gonna hear. Probably the last one. Like I don't even know how anyone tells another story.
Right.
after
This might just be the podcast where we brand it as or bill it as the guy who snuck onto Augusta. Like I don't know how else you. What a story, man.
All right.
Fuck.
Well, we'll see if we get crazier ones. We appreciate you sharing it. That's a really stupid move, but we appreciate you sharing it.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
talking
Hey,
today.
Stunning.
thanks for supporting the stupidity. I'm pacing around a room and totally terrified, but
We
it's
won't
like every
put
year
your
you guys
name
post
out
like,
there.
hey, we're
We
looking
won't
for
put your name
stories.
out
So
there.
Rick, you post looking for stories, and
Totally.
That's
You
my
have a
time.
story. Don't you dare say you don't have a story. You've got a story. All right. You have a fucking story.
We'll keep your name. They'd have to do like a voice cross reference. So if they can do that, you're fucked. Otherwise, I think you're okay.
again, it's Augusta. I don't put anything past them. So here's to hoping the next month goes well. I'll keep you guys posted.
All right.
Good luck.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you for sharing. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys.
Enjoy
Hey,
Masters
who are you
week.
taking real quick this week? You asked me. Who's your picks this week?
Ooh, man. We're pretty high on Jason Day as a crew only because Nate Ragazzi said it last week and it came out of the clouds, and you can't have somebody say that and then not take him, because if he wins, we'll all want to kill ourselves.
Well, and Nate Bargatze's probably played golf with him since that's all he does is that and comedy. So that's pretty reliable.
I think that's right.
I'm gonna put some coin on Justin Thomas as well because it just makes sense.
Awesome. Well, enjoy the week, guys. Appreciate the time. Appreciate it. I gotta step into work. Hopefully they don't kill me for being 4 minutes late, but really appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you for sharing.
Take
Good
care.
luck at work.
Good shit. See you, man. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Wow.
Hold on, before you bring somebody else in. That was some wild shit.
Dude, that was crazy.
I mean, that's a full-blown sociopath, psychopath, everything
Right.
about whatever path comes after the first word. That's what he is.
Yeah, I read that one. And I was like, holy shit. He sent maps and shit. Like, he's like, I looked at Google Maps and stuff.
Yeah, I was premeditated.
Bless
Dude, I
you.
was following along while I was telling it. I was like, oh, man, this adds up.
When
Like,
he
years of
was
being
stealing
no
the
bunkers, and now
flag-
he's at Rays Creek.
When he was stealing the flag on 13, there was a part of me that thought he was lying. I thought he was lying, but then the more he talked, the more I started to believe him.
That guy's not lying.
Yeah.
No.
Because at some point, like, he's taking a risk by saying that, and you don't take the risk on a lie like that.
Yeah. No, that's right. I just couldn't believe that it was actually happening. Like, yeah. Wow. Okay. Shout out to that guy,
That's
I
just
guess.
a no for me.
That's
I'll
a
just
huge
never do
no.
that.
Huge no. Let's bring somebody else in.
The Whoop train, baby. I got to tell you guys. Last week I had, I think, 4 straight days where my recovery on Whoop was in the 90s, all 4 days.
Ooh.
And I felt like a king. I felt like one of those people. You know, you see some of those people in the morning that are like fitness freaks that are like running, working out, and you're just like, man, that person must feel like $1 trillion every single day.
Pure is the word I like to use. I had a 98% and 107 HRV one day, and I just felt pure.
I will say, I don't think anybody's going to be feeling pure on this podcast tomorrow.
No.
I think your body battery is going to be low.
My strain,
Yeah.
I've been trying to be healthier. I've been trying to work out. My strain has been up 10-3, 11-9, 9-9, 9-9.
Wow.
We're getting out there. I know Frankie's been trying to get out there too. We're just giving it our best, and Whoop is a good way to track it, because otherwise I would have like good days and bad days, and I would have no idea. But my recovery hasn't been like where I want it to be, but I've definitely been trying to up the strain.
Dude,
a
it's
little bit.
amazing if you have water, how much better your HRV and your sleep and your, like, if you just crush water all day, you will be in the green the next day. I'm
Yeah.
convinced of it. It's just something about, like, your system just loves fucking water. And if you're dehydrated, it's the opposite, which is why when you drink, you're like a 2.
Right.
It's incredible that doing like good, healthy things actually translates to really good numbers on Whoop.
It's amazing.
JT, some of our favorite golfers, JT is a good example. They rock Whoop. They're big fans of Whoop. JT's heart rate was being tracked as he headed into the home stretch at the Players Championship when he won a few weeks ago. His heart rate hit 125 beats per minute as he sunk his eagle putt on 11 and neared 140 as he watched his drive at 18 come a little too close to the water for everyone's comfort, if you remember that. Those are like Trent numbers, by the way.
Those are big numbers, but, you know, it's, I mean, I've gotten higher than that. Like,
Well,
watching a hockey game, I
Dude,
feel like I was up to
all right.
170.
When we were on the first tee at Pebble, I think, me, Frankie, and Riggs were on the first tee because our group was last, and that little group started to form of stoolies, like, going to watch us tee off. My heart rate was 138.
Right. You weren't fucking at
138.
you weren't at the Players.
No, but and JT is like. it
Well, the
almost
point I'm
speaks
trying to make is this guy's like kind of like got it. Like I mean, the 120
That's
was
right.
like not as high as I thought it would be. That's kind of like all right, it's pumping, but it's not like he couldn't like breathe or like it wasn't coming through his neck. I feel like
Right.
when
If
he
you
gets
put
to that,
one of us in that situation, we're at 180.
yes,
Right.
I wonder if his healthiness has a factor. Like,
100%,
yeah.
100%.
So if it's relative to his normal versus our relative to our normal, maybe it's closer than we think.
I've seen extremely healthy, fit people's whoops, and the difference is astronomical. HRV being the biggest difference.
You said Brock Nelson's is just like
Brock
the
Nelson is
strain
Brock Nelson and a lot of the guys on that team. They and really any fucking athlete, but Brock in particular, I think is a whoop, like he has a perfect whoop score.
Yeah.
And the HRV thing to me, the heart rate variability, where it's like how hard is your heart working and how healthy is it working. When I was sick, like or whenever I'm like not feeling well or wake up hungover, I'm down to like a 20 or like a 30 HRV. I mean, you're talking about these fit people. They're at like 127 when they wake up. Their heart's just working, you know?
Working efficiently.
Average strain of like a 13 and like average recovery of like a 92. What is happening there?
Well, Whoop can help you, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, Whoop is offering 15% off if you go with the code FOREPLAY at checkout. Go to Whoop, that's whoop.com, WHOOP.com. Enter FOREPLAY, one word, at checkout. You're going to save 15% off. That's whoop.com, code FOREPLAY, and get 15% off at checkout. Wayne, what's up? Can you hear us? You all good?
Yep.
Okay, great. Where are you at? You're in the Boone, Illinois?
Yeah, Harvard, Illinois. About 3 miles south of the Wisconsin border. So just like by Lake Geneva, south, about 20 minutes south of there.
All right, yeah, you're up there a little bit, but that's that's not the I would say that's not like the most remote part of the country. So you're okay. What's your pick? Who's your pick for the Masters?
You know, that's a really good question. I'm thinking you gotta. If John Rahm is gonna come in, that would be a cool thing to be a father, new father to win the Masters. So I think he's got some pride coming in doing that. I think that would be a really cool thing.
I think you might be onto something. He's got like that new father karma, kind of thing on his side. He's got a good story going into the week.
Walking
That could
proud.
Got the dad trying to like lift a car over like someone that got into an accident.
I think it might just give him a little perspective. Like if he can relax himself and now he's father, there's like he realizes golf isn't as important. Like there's other things in life. That would be like the wavelength I would go to cure his brain. If he can do that.
That's a good point too. That's a good point too. So you got a Masters story. Been to Augusta. You clearly got the hat.
Yeah. Actually, I just got this. I have no idea, and there wasn't very much talk about it. I got access to the patron store like for this year, and was able to log on and buy stuff, and it shipped in like 2 days. So I got this like last week.
No way. That's sick.
No, I kid you not. So my brother-in-law, who is part of my Masters story, also got the link, and he got picked in 2019 for the Wednesday tickets. So I don't know if like past ticket holders got access to the patron store, but they send you a link and you have to verify your login, verify your identity and all that fun stuff, and then you get another link that gives you access to like 500 different items to purchase.
Awesome. So yeah, you got some 2021 Masters gear. Is that what you're wearing right now?
Yeah. So I got the hat. I got a zip up. I got a Gator wallet that's coming. Then we did buy last year. We bought the Taste of the Masters. And then we also did that this year. So, I mean, now we'll have 18, 19, 20, and 21 cups. So start getting those as part of a collection items.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So you guys have been down there.
Yep.
Give us your Masters story.
All right. So it started off that I was on vacation with my wife and some friends down in Nashville, and I got the email that says, "Congratulations, you've been selected for tickets." I'm like, there is no way this is true. Like, even though I knew the timing was about right, and I checked my login, and you go and you see tickets requested, the max for each days, and there's zeros at the bottom of every day until you scroll all the way down to Sunday and it says 2, and I just lost it at the bar. And everyone's looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, what's this guy just randomly looking at his phone screaming? Like, oh my God, I'm going to the Masters. So I order them real quick because then, of course, they say, buy them right away. Call my brother-in-law, who's like the biggest Masters golf fan. And we've been talking about this, forever about going. And left him a voicemail, call me back. You're not going to believe what I just got. So he called back a few hours later. We were at the dinner, went outside, and I'm like, dude, we're going to Sunday at the Masters. He goes, you better be joking. I'm like, no, man, we're going. And like, he just started crying on the phone and was like, oh my God, you got selected. I'm like, hey, sometimes it's cool to be lucky. And had a great time. I mean, it was everything you expect from the Masters. And it was my first golf tournament I've ever been to, which is probably a bad thing because there is nothing that's going to be able to reach that amount of ceiling.
That's true.
We walked the course backwards, which I've been told to do just so you can see everything, see all the holes. We saw the holes being changed, all the cups, locations, all of that, which is cool because there's 4 people, I think, on each hole to put them in the specific spots. And one of them's a member. And it was a little chilly that morning. And my brother-in-law, or I've actually bought a Masters winter hat, which is like, I guess, a rare thing to find. And one of the members, he goes, hey, nice hat. Or my brother-in-law said, nice hat. And he gave him the winter hat that he was wearing that says Augusta National Golf Club. So it's a member's hat.
No way.
So he wanted to make sure when I called you guys, or when I was on the video with you guys, to tell that story. So,
Damn.
Jeez.
but then following Tiger and hearing the Tiger roar was insane. Saw him do Amen Corner. We got to see Spieth's 16th putt for him to tie, which was just electric. That was like, it reminded me of like what the Waste Management Open would be, because there's nothing but college kids down there drinking that whole entire time. There's a concession right there, which is perfect for, the cheaper beer and all of that. So it's just a party atmosphere. 16 is a diamond. I love that place. And, then we went up to 18 and saw Patrick Reed win, which, is kind of, bittersweet. It's cool to see someone win, but, it's Patrick Reed. And we missed Tiger by 1 year. That was the biggest thing.
Yeah,
if
true.
we would have been there in 19 and saw Tiger win it, that would have just been the ultimate, right? But it's still the coolest sporting event I've ever been to. It'll never top anything. I am going up to the Ryder Cup at Whistling Straits in September, and I've played there a couple of times. So, my expectations aren't as high as the Masters because there's nothing that can top it. It's the best.
Yeah, you're gonna have a pretty crazy two tournaments that you've ever been to are gonna be the Masters and the Ryder Cup. But I do remember
Right,
just
exactly,
like hearing that your brother-in-law literally cried just because you guys got Masters tickets is pretty much everything that I needed to get excited about Masters Week this week, because that sums that
Cool.
tournament up perfectly.
That's awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah, because then, and then in 2019 when he got picked, he called me and did the same thing. And I'm like, no, we're not going back. We're going back to see, and do the par 3 contest. I'm like, hell yeah. So I mean, then got that, and
Awesome.
it's the best. Nothing but the
It's
best.
just the best. It
Is
just
there
gets
is there a
everybody
feeling like when you get picked for just like the Wednesday, like, or is it almost like but Wednesday's really freaking cool, but like, is it almost too much of like a tease, like a blue ball scenario?
You know what? It's kind of I should say no, because I think out of those are the 2 days that you want. I mean, Wednesday because of the par 3, and then Sunday to see a champion, to see, to be selected. But I think those are the 2 days, and we've talked. And that was the crazy part, is the year after, or in 2018, we're like, dude, now we need to go to a Wednesday, and then we get selected for Wednesday. Like,
Yeah.
All right, well, what else can we wish for?
Right.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
But
Hell yeah. Well,
big fan of you guys. You guys are the best. I appreciate everything you guys do for the game of golf. You guys do a great job, especially being, in my mid 30s, that a lot of people don't care about the game of golf. And I thought golf was going to be a thing for business more than anything else, because I'm an accountant. So I'm like, doing that fun stuff, but me and my buddies play it all the time, and that's what we base our summers around, is golf. So, and you guys on a weekly basis.
We'll definitely leave that part in.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for saying that.
Appreciate the listen.
Yeah, thank you very much, Wayne. And I would say that if you would have given me a chance to say what you do for a living, I probably would have said accountant, because you just you get so excited about the little things like that I could tell that you just try and get out of numbers and papers and data, that you're crying at a bar to go to Augusta National, because it's so opposite of what your day-to-day life is. That I actually appreciate that very much about that story.
Thanks, Frankie. Appreciate you. And
Awesome.
I got you a Borelli T-shirt. Had to support you guys
hell
too.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
That's fucking awesome, man. That's fucking
Hell
awesome.
yeah.
Thank you.
Love that, Wayne.
Awesome.
Well, thanks, man. We appreciate you staying up late and sharing the story, and I'm glad you guys got that. You guys embody a Masters fan. You
For
guys
sure.
are literally crying about getting tickets. It's perfect.
appreciate it, guys.
Yep. Thanks for having
Thanks,
on,
man.
dude.
Thank you,
Yep.
Wayne.
See you guys.
Yeah.
What a nice guy.
Very nice guy. And my favorite part of that story was that Patrick Reed almost ruined their Masters trip. Patrick Reed winning he was like, yeah, it was the trip of a lifetime. We got to go see the Masters. We went on Sunday, which is the day you want to go, and then Patrick Reed won, and that was kind of shitty, but it was still fun to be there. Patrick Reed, Augusta National hated Patrick Reed winning, and I think Wayne is right up there with hating that win the most, because that really devastated him and his
the
brother-in-law.
one part that Wayne tries to keep out of the story every time. He's like, yeah, I remember what year. I'm not sure who won that year, but it was good.
Wayne goes to a dark place when someone asks him, oh, who won that? He goes, oh, you shut your fucking mouth.
Right.
Okay? Walk the course backwards. You got a fucking hat. Don't you dare ask us what happened at 5 o'clock that day.
At that point, you might as well lie and say you were there in 2019. I wouldn't hate you for that. I wouldn't hate you if you did that. No biggie.
No, I wouldn't hate.
That just makes me like Patrick Reed even more. That guys are driving back from the best day of their lives, being like, I can't believe that fucking guy won today. That guy is just, he brings it, man. He has the juice, and no one else can take it away from him.
It's true. Let's bring somebody else in.
All right, we got Nick in the show. Nick has joined. What's up? Where are you coming from?
I'm coming down from west coast of Florida, a little bit south of Tampa here, boys.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
You weren't
you
wearing a Yabo shirt?
I'm on the up and up.
Oh, I was thinking you were from Chicago. I was stunned when you said you were from somewhere that wasn't Chicago.
No, I'm actually from New York originally, but moved down here to buy a custom fitting golf club studio, so probably a pretty good place to be for it.
Damn.
How'd you get into that?
Yeah. Wow.
Started fitting people when I was 15 or 16 at golfsmiths and different stores like that, and then the pandemic hit. I was working in professional sports ticket sales and said, fuck it, this is probably a good time to try to do something for myself, and started looking at some stores and found one over in Clearwater, and that's where I'm at. So
What is the name of this store?
it's called Duffy's Golf Studio. It's located in Bel Air Bluffs, Florida, about 25 minutes south of Innisbrook. So just missed you guys there last week.
Okay, but so now talk to me about, if someone's in this area of Florida, what are they gonna get? Why should they come to your shop? What are you giving for them? You're fitting them. You're changing their shafts. What's the deal? What's the pitch?
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty similar to what you'd see with a True Spec or a Club Champion. Just going to be a little bit more affordable. It's a small local business, so you don't have to deal with any of that other stuff. And it's going to get some really high quality clubs. We offer Callaway, Miura, Mizuno, and PXG, so some pretty quality stuff. And they have TaylorMade in there pretty soon. Get some Sim 2s in there. But
Thank God.
yeah, no, 100%, 100%. So
And you're
Yeah.
up and running right now?
Yeah, I've been up and running. The store was open for about 10 years before I took over, but I took over in January, so it's been going fantastic so
What'd you
far.
change about it when you take over? What do you change about it?
Well, the first guy was he was getting ready to retire, so he was only open for 30 hours a week. So I'm gonna ramp that up to about 45, 50 hours, and then got to get really into the social media. So building up an Instagram and building up a LinkedIn and different stuff like that. So try to get to the younger demographic.
Well, let me tell you something. This thing's coming out in 2 days, right? This is going to come out on Tuesday. Get that Instagram up and running tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that what's the name of it again?
Duffy's Golf Studio.
Duffy's Golf Studio. When you guys are listening to this, you know that there's people in that town that listen to this goddamn golf show. And they're going to want to come get fitted and they want to see what's going on at Duffy's. You better have a link ready for them because this is it, man. This is it. This is where else? What are you going to get, a billboard somewhere? You're on a golf podcast right now.
No, I couldn't have asked for a better.
Right. So let's go. Let's go to Duffy's. Get the Instagram ready. Get it going. Make sure you got the shafts all cleaned up. Make sure the door is nice and open when they walk in.
Door's nice and open.
Just fucking. I want that place looking presentable. Let's go. I like
Golf Studio. I like Golf Studio has a nice ring to it. That's like you're fucking going into a studio. You are gonna get
walking into the studio.
Up.
The TrackMan experience. It's gonna be perfect.
What about your logo? What's your logo look like? Did you just inherit the logo, or did you put any thought into the logo game?
We've done a little bit of work on it. Just kind of got some basic stuff going on, but that's going to be kind of all part of the change that I'm looking to do. Kind of.
Where's Duffy's? What's Duffy's come from? That was already the name too.
That was just the previous owner's name, and he had a lot of.
Ever think about changing it, or you like Duffy's?
Kind of plays off of Duffers and kind of the golf term, but
I like that.
I don't know. Maybe I'll switch it up, but it's good.
I would say it's a little bit. It's not an intimidating name like True Spec and all that's a little bit like that seems pretty serious. Like I get that you want people to be serious, but I'm more of like trying to have a good time while I get fitted. Duffy's a little bit more inviting, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. And we want to have it so the higher your handicap, the more this is going to help you out. So we want to get to as many people as we can.
Yeah, and we've preached specifically with TaylorMade, but getting fitted is probably the most important thing you can do for your game. Aside from getting clubs is nice and shiny and brand new, and we all love the feeling. But at the end of the day, man, when you get that club fitting, it changes your game so much that you wouldn't believe it until you do it. I can't imagine people that buy clubs off the rack after listening to us talk about it so much. After hearing the way that we're able to finally hit the golf ball better than we've ever hit it, you have to go get fitted.
Yeah, a lot of people take the onus and put it on themselves and say, I'm not the greatest golfer, but when it comes down to it, you can hand Dustin Johnson or Rory or any of those guys any random 7-iron, and they're going to find a way to make it work. We're not Dustin or Rory or any of those guys. We need to have our clubs finely tuned for us, and it really does make a huge, huge difference to anybody listening.
So Nick from Duffy's, you been down to Augusta?
Yeah, I worked there. I went to the University of South Carolina, so worked there for 4 years throughout the tournament, and it was obviously the greatest place on earth. And had some pretty interesting experiences down there. So were you the one that was just talking about how you're the biggest fan of Augusta National and all the doors that it's opened and everything it's done for you in your life? No, that was not me. I was the one. Mine's more Frankie will appreciate, but Wayne Gretzky related. So it's yeah.
Oh. Yeah. So give us a little story about your experience down in working at the Masters.
Yeah. So that was my first year working the tournament, and what I was doing was selling the Masters polos. So Monday through Wednesday was pretty chaotic. Not too much time for a break, but as the week goes on and inventory was less and less, got a little bit more time to watch the golf. So a couple of the guys from the shop said, we were kind of checking the leaderboards throughout the day on Sunday, and we noticed Jordan was taking a pretty big lead, making a bunch of birdies, and we're like, all right, let's go catch him, watch his last 9 holes, and watch him coast to victory. Well, as we all know, he went bogey, and then quad, and as he started rinsing balls on 12, I said, maybe not his year. Let me go catch up with Dustin. I've always been a big Dustin guy, so start going to catch up to him. 15th fairway, he had already hit his tee ball, so he's walking out to his ball, and I'm just kind of walking up alongside the ropes on the right side of the fairway. And someone I guess they saw my badge or whatever. They were just like, hey, why don't you go tell him to lay up? And I look over. It's number 99 himself, Wayne Gretzky. And
way.
I don't know what came over me, but I just go, hell no, he's going for the green. And from where we were, we couldn't really see how tough of a shot that he had. But I mean, he had to go like right through the trees. And everybody knows 15 at Augusta, if you're a little short, water, little long, water. You know, even if you're on land a little long, it's a very tough shot. So they're trying to get him to lay up. I was like, no, he's going for it. Hits an immaculate shot, gets through up on the green, gives himself a putt for eagle. And Gretzky and his boys are fired up at this point. Everybody's going wild. He had yet to win a major, so everybody's like, this is the time. You know, this is his chance. He's coming through here. And from that point on, for the rest of the round, I was just kind of walking with their crew. It was Gretzky, a couple of his friends, a couple guys from the Predators at that point. So just a good group of guys. And what really stuck out to me was just the amount of shit that Wayne Gretzky was getting from his friends the entire time, because he couldn't watch Dustin putt. Like, he's lining up his putts and Wayne's facing the exact opposite direction. Everybody's like, you're one of the greatest athletes, one of the most clutch performers of all time, and you can't watch this guy try a 25-foot putt for eagle right now. And it was
He was that invested in Dustin Johnson's like performance at Augusta that he was like as if it was his own son, like up there.
Right.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. It was like, you know, everybody knows how special of a place Augusta is, but to really have an experience like that first year down there was.
That makes me think, like, as a hockey guy, like of goalie mom and dads, like the parents of the goalies could never watch, like when the game would get really intense, or like the mom would have to, like the dad would have to cover the mom with like a jacket because she couldn't watch play, and that was how fucking Wayne, the great one, was watching DJ try to win the Masters.
Yeah, it was, you know, putting him in that situation, it was nothing like he's ever been in, but nothing like I've ever experienced.
What's the feeling of like being on the other side of the ropes, like the better side of the ropes than Wayne Gretzky at a sporting event? To me, that's one where it's like, what's going on here? I don't know.
It was really weird, and you get into some different situations, like I guess 2 years later, or 2 or 3 years later, when Tiger took home the victory. You know, like my station was shot right behind the fifth green, so we're kind of like getting into some spots where you couldn't see, and Tiger's walking off and giving him high fives because we're kind of allowed to go through the ropes as he's walking through on his way to victory. It was just, you know, walk around with your shoulders, you know, head and shoulders a little bit higher, but it was
wow, wow, what a story.
Going back and forth with Wayne is all time.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And it was like, yeah, there was a couple other like Shea Weber and a couple other big guys there too. So just kind of going back and forth with them. And, you know, I talked to Ryan Johansson for about an hour, just asking him, you know, different stories. He was just like, who are you most starstruck to meet? And he's telling me just like he met Derek Jeter at a restaurant. He's like a little kid again. So hearing professional athletes and, you know, just kind of shoot the crap with normal guys. It just, you know, Augusta, that's the only thing I have to say about it. Just, that's the only place on earth where you're going to get that experience.
Talk to me about how you became a worker and like what was like, what's that process like?
Yeah. So at the University of South Carolina, they take like 500 kids a year from the school. I guess because we're only about 50 minutes from Augusta. So it's the biggest college kind of in the area. And there was a program where you could actually take a class. So you got class credit, you got to miss a week of school, and you got paid. So, I mean, it was like, if you didn't do it, you were stupid. But you had to go through some interview processes with that. And my experience working in golf stores and at golf courses from the time I was 15 years old kind of gave me a leg up on that. But it wasn't too hard to get in, you know, being from the school, but I've heard kind of outside of that, it's a pretty tough gig to get.
Does your experience like give you better jobs there? Like, could you have just gotten stuck on like bathroom duty? Like, there was no rhyme or reason for why you were inside the ropes.
Yeah, you got to like apply for different positions, and really, I wasn't actually supposed to be inside the ropes. I just had my badge and took a little bit of liberty.
Amazing.
But yeah, I mean, we definitely had some spots that we can go to that the general public couldn't. But
right.
Yeah, no, it was just I applied for selling polos because it was something that I had done before, and I figured it would be pretty easy. Like you said, there's people whose entire job is standing in the parking lot directing traffic for 7 days. So that wasn't the job that you'd want to get. You want to be on the grounds. But yeah, there was I mean, you got to apply for what you wanted to, but then you didn't always necessarily get that position.
It's amazing.
Damn.
That's awesome. Wayne, the great one. Hell yeah.
And Riggs, I cut him off, but what are the perks, like, aside from actually being on the grounds? Do they give you guys, like, gift cards for the shop and stuff? Like,
Yeah, so you get your 3 polos, a pullover that they give to you, and then you also, I mean, we're in there beforehand, so we kind of know what's available in the stores and certain things that we're going to be selling out quick. Like they started bringing out garden gnomes, and people were buying them. They were like $50.
yes, I remember that.
They were selling out and going on eBay for like $250. So
Yeah, I
there was
do
lots of
remember
people who I worked with who were doing that, but really it was, you know, everybody that you know who likes golf or even knows about golf is giving you a list of things. So it's like you're just a little college kid walking there and buying like $5,000 worth of merch because everybody that you know is sending it down to you. Just, I need a hat here, I need a shirt, get me a belt, whatever it may be.
Where do you stay when you're working there for the week?
Yeah, so there's lots of people who put up their houses for the students. So it was like, I heard a lot of people pay like $300-$400 a hotel for a night. My setup was, it was $250 for the week. We had 14 kids from the school staying in one person's house, and some
Did they
people
know
were
that?
working in the restaurant, Workman's Place. What happened?
Did like the family who rented it know that there was just gonna be 14 college kids at the Masters there
Yeah.
all week, and they're cool with that?
Yeah, like they wouldn't be in the house. They kind of would like stop by in the beginning and stop by at the end just to make sure everything was okay. But just the people, I mean, they're making so much money just for that week, and then the entire city shuts down. Like the high schools that week, the high schools are closed, the elementary schools are closed because it's just impossible to move around like the area. So those people just take a vacation, make a whole bunch of money, and just get out of there for the week. But
You're telling me this week, elementary schools in Augusta, Georgia have the week off?
yeah,
No
yeah, because
way.
it would take like an hour and a half, 2 hours just to get like a block down the street during the day, because it's obviously not a very built up area to the level of the amount of people who come to the Masters.
It's like fucking Christmas time in the North Pole, man.
Right.
It really is.
Yeah, like I worked with a couple kids who were like 15, 16 years old, and they were just like there for
Dude,
high school's closed this week, I'm gonna go work the Masters.
Yeah, it's genius. Like all the schools are off. It's easier that way. Then everyone goes on vacation, rents their house out, and makes thousands of dollars, and they're just gone for the week.
Yeah. It's a fantastic setup for everybody.
Wow.
Stunning.
That's great.
Unreal. Absolutely unreal. Man, watch him with the great one. I can't believe you couldn't watch him putt. That's phenomenal. We appreciate it. We appreciate you coming on. We appreciate the story. Duffy's in what's the town?
Bel Air Bluffs. It's right outside Clearwater, so about 25 minutes outside Tampa.
Yep.
Bel Air Bluffs outside of Tampa. Go get
Better
fit.
get that.
It's gonna
Better
be
get
a
that
good
Instagram up and running, bro. Get that shit going. I want you to check in with us at some point. Maybe it's at the end of the week or the end of the month. Give Stooley some time. They always show up, just like with the Barstool Fund and stuff. They're going to want to support local business. And they're also, I mean, golf season is here. I don't know how, I mean, I'm sure it's always there in Florida, but in the Northeast, it's here. And if we're ever in town, I want to stop by your shop and I want to see what you've done with the place. And you better keep this thing fucking running, and you better be innovative, and you better be fucking good on social media, because I'm rooting for you.
I appreciate it, boys. Would love to have you down, and I'll check back in, and can't wait, and appreciate you guys letting me give my business a little plug and let me come on here and tell my story.
To all the listeners, whenever you go in there, say Foreplay sent me, and maybe you can give them like a little fucking coin or something, like a badge of honor.
Yeah, Foreplay sends you. I'll get some little merch piece that I can give away, and I'll
Yes, that's awesome. That's what I want.
Yep.
I want like it's a mark, maybe something they can put on their bag or something that like Foreplay sent them. You know what I mean? Like a little fucking tag or something.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm gonna have to do that.
Love it.
I'll be on that this week for sure.
All right,
Good
Nick.
shit, dude.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank
All
you.
right, take care.
Appreciate it, man.
Oh, man, I love gassing like fucking small business up, man. That guy's
It's
gonna
cool.
be so fucking motivated tonight. Like he just hung
know.
up that phone and he's like, it's fucking go time.
And
Like, this thing goes out to hundreds of thousands of golfers. Everyone knows Duffy's now. He's become a name in his area just from talking on a podcast, and now he's got to fucking go. Like, place needs to look good. Social media needs to be put up. Like, I'm telling you that people are gonna walk into that place.
This is the
They
biggest
will.
week he's ever had for his
People will
life.
walk into that place. I've had this exact talk with my dad. I'm like, Dad, like, let's go. Like, Dave just fucking helped us out. Like, you go, and he's fucking there at 2:00 in the morning the next day, being like, it's our fucking time. Like, stoolies are coming, we're going. Like, I know what that kid's feeling right now.
And
He's
it's
going his girlfriend, being like, it's fucking happening. It's fucking happening. Our little shop is now fucking known nationally.
and he sounds like he's a guy who
sick as that.
he took a risk, which we appreciate. Which would
I
we want
love
to
him.
support the
He's
hell
also
out of
wearing a
that.
lot of Barstool stuff. He's got shirts like it's
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah, he's just a
Duffy's,
good dude. You can tell.
Duffy's. Go to Duffy's.
Duffy's.
Let's bring somebody else in.
Like he was, yeah, he was cool. Yeah, pull another person in. Noah, what's up?
How's it going, boys?
Doing
How
great,
you
man.
doing?
How you doing?
Doing great.
Excited for Masters Week?
Oh man, I'm pumped. Can barely sleep. Wish Tiger was playing, but
Noah's just
I
sitting
know.
up at night staring at the ceiling, being like, fucking Masters Week, man.
Dude,
Hell
me
yeah,
too.
man.
I don't blame
I
him. So Masters.
Masters back in 2018. So it was my golf coach from high school. He's my best friend's dad. Him, myself, and one of his best friends. We drove down from my area down to Augusta, so 12-hour drive. We get 3 hours in the fucking trip. We forgot the tickets. And it was Dan, he was my golf coach. He's driving and he's like, hey, reach in my leather bag. It's the one with the tickets. I need this. I'm looking around. I'm like, Dan, I don't see a bag. And he's like, you're fucking kidding. He's like, it's got to be back there. I mean, we searched everywhere. So he calls up his farm hand because he's a farmer, and calls up his one of his workers, and he's like, go to my house, bags by the door, drive as fast as you can south. We'll meet you. We met him like probably 2.5 hours south of Arcola, Arthur area. So we get the tickets. We're way behind schedule. So then we just like beeline it to Augusta. We get there. So we had tickets for Tuesday practice round. We get there Monday night. Immediately go to Hooters. That is the spot. So we go see John Daly. He was so shit rocked, they had to pull him off stage. And I've got videos of him trying to sing Country Roads. Just can't get anything out. So they pull him off. And I'm drinking with one of my buddies, Johnny. And he is so far gone that when they do the closest to the pin competition, he ends up wins a shit ton of money, doesn't remember anything. Next day, we told him about it. He sticks it to like 6 inches, like the bar goes nuts. Couldn't tell you a thing. I stepped up there. I hosel rocket, almost killed someone. It was so bad. So next morning we wake up, we're all pumped, get ready to go in. It was my second time. First time was in 2017. I won the lottery the first time. I lied about my age though, because you have to be 21 and I was only 20. And so I got 4 Wednesday tickets. So, that's kind of the best one if you can't get weekend, because you get to see the par 3. So me and my 2 buddies drive down, and I actually gave my 4th ticket to my friend's dad instead of my girlfriend at the time, who we met through the college golf team. And she was like super pissed at that, but it ended up paying off because Dan got tickets in the lottery in 2018 and then gave me a ticket as thanks for 2017. Whole thing paid off. So Tuesday morning, we get in the gates. First thing I want to see is Freddie, Tiger, Phil, and Thomas Peters play back nine. So we pair off. So it's Johnny and I, Chris, Dan, and Steve. They go off. Steve caddied in South Africa. He knows Charles Schwartzel's dad, and so they wanted to follow them. So I made a beeline for Tiger, see him come down 10. A couple beers deep already. I'm like, something doesn't feel right. I'm starting to I'm grabbing my side, whatever. So I go to the bathroom, and then I lose Johnny. So then I come out, and I keep drinking, trying to power through it, basically. See him come down 11. And so at Augusta, 10 comes down, 11. You've got Amen cornered. Well, kind of behind 12 tee box, there's bathroom. There's kind of like one of those nicer ones. And I had been in there so many times in probably a half hour, like those attendants, the guy recognized me. He's like, this is like the 6th time you've been in here. Like, are you feeling all right? I'm like pouring sweat at this point. I was like, no, man, like I'm all right, blah, blah, blah. So like, get out of there, see him hit tee shots into 12. Tiger actually put his in the water, which kind of pissed me off. Like I wanted to see him at least stick it close. See them on 13, so I'm kind of over like the pine straw, like where Phil was. Straight up about puked right there. See him come up 14, and like I'm already bouncing back forth between the bathroom again. Pouring sweat, don't know what's wrong with me. Like start visions off, all that. So I go to 15 tee. I'm not shitting you. I'm probably 3 feet away from Tiger, and he hits his pretty little cut off the tee, and then he's giving Phil shit or something like that. So he comes back to the rope, and I about puked on him. So like I had to cover my mouth and like hold my stomach. And the guy standing next to me is like, dude, are you okay? I was like, no. So he literally turns me away thinking I'm going to get sick on Tiger's back, which would have just been, I can't even describe like what that would have looked like. So I go back to the bathroom, finally puke, and I'm just still just like pouring sweat, painful as hell, trying to drink water. Knew something was wrong. So I follow him down 15. See him hit tee shots on 16. Skip the shots on 16. Hobble up to this kind of like little nurse station. You know, there's like a front desk person and people in the back. And I literally like collapsed. I'm like pale white. The lady doesn't even ask. She opens the door, gets a doctor, takes me back to a bed, lays me down, starts like pressing on my stomach and all that. He's like, does this hurt? And he pushed and like literally like I puked. Like it was that bad. And he's like, what have you been drinking? I was like, I don't know. I've had like 8 beers this morning. Like, I don't know. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. It's pretty typical for like a Masters Tuesday or whatever. Like I had my cups with me still because I didn't want to lose those and like pouring water. So he sits me up and he's like, how old are you? I said, I'm 21. He's like, all right, you got kidney stones. I'm like, what do you mean I got kidney stones? I'm 21 years old. He's like, you got a bunch of kidney stones and the next 2 weeks are going to be living hell for you. And so I was like, well, what can you do? And he's like, we're going to give you the strongest meds possible so we can get you back out up the door so you can go walk around. Serious? He's like, yeah, you got insurance? So I gave him my insurance card and all that. I don't even know what they loaded me up on. I was cloud fucking 9. Like watching like the Masters or like being there, like when you're sober, it's like the birds are chirping, perfect air, no humidity. Like you're just in the atmosphere. When you're high on painkillers, I laid on the grass on 16 and I literally thought I was part of the soil. Like you just like absorb into it. And like, I'm just staring up and I remember just hearing golf shots and people cheering. And like, it was like, I could hear Jim Nance's voice in like the back of my head. I'm like, if I died here, I'd be fine. Like I am in heaven. I'm in golf heaven. And so we walked around, we saw some shots, ended up making up to the kind of gift shop area up by the clubhouse, walked down 1 and 2. And I remember standing behind 2. I can't remember who was on the tee and just like stared there for probably 10 minutes. I so high on painkillers, I could not move. And I was just like captivated by like what I saw. Not a blade of grass out of place, you know, trying to think like how the hell I would play this whole shit like that. And it was actually funny before, you know, right after they released me from the doctor, Steve has this house that he rented out that actually Augusta kind of bought that neighborhood up, but we kind of stayed literally like right by the southwest entrance, which is you walk across 5 right in front of the green. That's that entrance. And they're already back because our plan was to meet there at lunch if we got separated. It's like 12:15. I walk in, start checking emails. They're like, oh, where you been? We lost you. I was like, oh yeah, I got kidney stones. And I like go back to answering emails, taking calls, and they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, I showed them like the card, the picture that I sent you guys. I was like, I literally have kidney stones, and they have me so high on painkillers. And then that was that. We ate lunch, headed back to the course, dropped like $1,000 on merchandise, and like I was on cloud 9. It was awesome. So, and then kind of by the end of the day, like you start to feel it kind of like wearing down. It was probably like 4:35, and I was like, we need to go. And so then I took the rest of it, and then we had dinner that night, and then the next day I was on a shuttle to Atlanta to catch a flight to DC, and it was probably like the weirdest experience, but absolutely, it was painful in the beginning, but like that afternoon was probably like one of like the calmest and like purest I've ever been like at a golf course.
Right.
Unreal.
Did you end up like actually having kidney stones and passing them? And
Yeah. So I got back
Yikes.
to DC and went to the doctor like 2 days later, and he's like, here's what we're going to do. So they like gave me an ultrasound, and they basically like pulse them to make them smaller, and I still like ended up passing. It's like the most painful fucking thing on the planet. Like I wouldn't wish this on like my worst enemy. Like it was off. And again, like I'm 21 years old. This is something like that happens like 40, 50-year-old men, 60-year-old men.
Shot
Not
PFT.
healthy. Yeah.
Damn.
What's that?
How many did you have?
PFT, our guy PFT commenter just passed a couple kidney stones recently.
Oh, that's right.
God. And like it's just brutal. And then like it's got to be genetic or something, because like late last year my brother got him too, and he's only 4 years older than me, and it's absolute hell. It sucks so bad.
Damn.
Dude, that sounds like it's the worst experience. Every person that goes through it says it's unbelievably painful.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
I heard it passing through the kidneys or like whatever other part it passes through is actually worse than getting them out
Yeah.
of like.
So I actually I passed most of them at Augusta, and passing them isn't like pissing them out. It's like when it moves from your kidney like down. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's the painful part from what it was explained to be. So I was, if I'm being like completely honest, like I am literally passing kidney stones looking at Tiger Woods hit tee shot on 15.
Right. That's right. Puking all over the place.
Yeah,
Gotta think
it
that
was-
You're in a very, very limited, if not like you're the only person that's ever happened that's ever happened to. You may be one of one.
Right, and especially like as young as you got to think some of those old guys that are walking around like they've got all sorts of issues. But like someone that was like 21, like just graduated college, like that's not supposed to happen to me. And there it was.
Passing kidney stones at,
Wow.
I
How
guess.
does kidney stones form? How do they form? Does anybody know?
It's like a calcium deposit. So like I wasn't drinking enough water, and like I was working out a bunch of like pre-workout and creatine. Like if you don't drink enough water, it's like those build up and like certain your diet and shit like that.
Okay.
So
Wow.
Drink water, folks.
Prosciutto.
So
Makes
how is it
sense.
hereditary? Didn't you say it was hereditary?
yeah, so apparently like in my family line, like kidney colon problems are a thing. So like it just doesn't digest the nutrients properly or some weird off thing like that. I don't know, it's really odd, I guess.
Okay.
All right.
There's nothing we won't get into on this foreplay podcast.
High on painkillers, watching Tiger Woods, kidney stones, and we had a couple stories earlier that were crazy too. Yeah, we'll talk about anything on this show. Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for
All
coming
right,
on,
man.
though. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. So thanks for having me on, guys. So
Yep.
Awesome, man.
Masters
Thanks,
week.
Noah.
Yeah.
Appreciate
same
it, man. Happy Masters
Try and
week.
get some sleep.
Yeah,
take
drink
care.
some water, brother. Drink some water.
So yeah.
Noah. I like him. I like when he was telling the story, he would just throw names at you like you knew the people that were involved.
Yeah,
Right.
Chris used to have this house.
Steve, Johnny. I was like, all right.
Good character.
I feel like I'm involved now. I don't know these people, but you're making me seem like I should know who these people are. Bring somebody else in.
Kyle, what's up, man?
Fellas, how y'all doing?
I knew you had an accent just by looking at you. I don't know
Felt
why,
that
but I'm
way.
like, this guy fucking has some sort of southern twang, and I fucking love it. I wish I would have said that. You know those moments you're like, say it. I was about to be like, fucking, he's going to call us like, fellas, how y'all doing?
I don't
Fuck
even
yeah.
know. I've lived so many places. I don't even know where my accent's from anymore. It's a mix of everything. So,
It does a mix. You got like
Yeah.
a mutt type accent.
I'm high school and college in Wisconsin. I married a Wisconsin girl, and I've lived in Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Missouri, all over the place. So,
Oh boy.
Ooh, where in
It's-
Missouri?
short time in Liberty, very short time.
Okay. All right. Where are you at now?
Look at that light structure behind you.
Yeah, that
Do
is
you want me to
nice.
turn that off? I didn't even
No,
think
I think it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. It's like
Almost looks like you got a fucking disco ball going on.
it's
in
like
your
a disco
kitchen.
ball. Look at that thing.
it's my wife's favorite new light fixture, right?
Looks like you got a nice pad though. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
a nice view going
beautiful.
back.
Thank.
I-
Riggs, are you in Pinehurst right now?
I'm a Pinehurst right now at the Carolina
Gotcha.
Hotel.
I'm up the road. I'm in Raleigh.
Okay. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'll be going through there Wednesday.
I get
I'll
the
see-
sense that
I'll-
Kyle. I
I'll
get the
see you in
sense.
the morning. I'm playing tomorrow at
Ooh.
Mid Pines.
Let's go.
Oh, there you go.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Are you excited? Are you nervous? How's your game?
No, I'm not nervous. I'm married with 2 young boys, so I don't play like I used to anymore. But excited to get out.
So you're
What
out.
time you
You're
guys
out there
teeing
for a
off?
good time tomorrow, then, right? You're not trying to get any hardware.
We have every intention of making it in November.
Ooh.
Okay.
There
Every
you go.
intention.
What time are you teeing off?
8-10 on 10.
Yeah, then you got a really good handicap if you're teeing off at 8-10.
So
Yeah.
So-
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I also get the sense that Kyle absolutely hates that light fixture, and it's his wife's favorite thing in the house.
it actually looks really cool in person, but looking at it from this angle, it doesn't look good.
I'm not saying it doesn't look good. It's just one of the more stunning like pieces. That, you walk in, you're like, wow, there's light coming out of that thing.
No doubt. No
You
doubt.
got tons of light. So hit us with a little Masters story.
Do you know what my story is?
No, I don't.
No.
I didn't memorize everybody, so it's
Okay.
I read it, but I don't know it.
So back in 2002, I'm on spring break. So I mentioned I lived a lot of places. Columbia, South Carolina was one of those places. And then from Columbia, South Carolina, moved up to Wisconsin, and then I'm a senior in high school and brought a couple high school teammates back down to my old stomping grounds in Columbia to play some golf because the courses in Wisconsin in March aren't, if they're open, they still suck, right? So we're down in Columbia, South Carolina, and I had previously been to the Masters, and my boys are from Wisconsin and wanted to just go look at just to look down Magnolia Lane and see the clubhouse. So we go, I show them Magnolia Lane, and this is, you got to remember, this is back in 2002. So like now you've got Berkman's Place, and they've bought up all those neighborhoods around that bordered Augusta National. And actually, before I go any further, I don't know if in the off chance that Fred Ridley watches or listens to this podcast, I just want to say there were no bad intentions whatsoever with what we were doing here. We were kids and we were having fun, and that's literally all it was. But so long story short, so there's back in 2002, there's just literally a fence and around Augusta National, and we're driving through these neighborhoods just trying to get like some sort of peek onto the property, and we couldn't find anything. And so we're driving out. We're on this road that runs parallel to number 5, where Berkman's Place now is, where they've built all that up. And we see this like 10-foot cement culvert going under the fence. So we pull over and check it out, and there's no barriers on either side of it. So you could like army crawl through this thing to get to the other side. So it's still light out. There's people in their yards. We go to McDonald's and chill for about an hour, and then go back when it's dark out, put on our rain gear and army crawl under this thing. And we come out to the other side, and it's like, no, I mean, I'm 17 at the time. I'm 37 now. So this is a long time ago, but I remember it being like a service road. And we walked down this service road like 50, 75 yards and come out, and we're standing right essentially on the tee box at number 5. So
It misses pitch black out. Like you guys.
the moon is it is the brightest full moon you can imagine. So we can see pretty good.
Holy smokes.
And so we're like, I mean, again, we're kids. We idolize this golf course. We're not trying to like wreak any havoc or anything. We're just like on the golf course, and we're pretty much amazed that we got in without being arrested, right? And so we're like, we walk up the fairway. I think I walked up 5, like kind of close to that bunker on the left, and then walk around the tee box, walk down the green at number 4, and then we just kind of like looked at each other, and it was me and 2 other buddies, and we're just like, well, fuck, that was awesome. Let's go. And so we get out of there, and we go back to the car, and we're like, why didn't we take the flag on number 4? We should have taken the flag.
We had a guy just about an hour ago who did something similar that you did, and he took the flag on 13.
Really? He got in and got it?
He got it.
Dude, he
People
took his
jumping
shoes
the
off,
fence?
and then he took the flag. And
How did he get in? How did he sneak in? Where'd he go?
He went over a fence, but he had like a buddy on the phone on Google Maps kind of telling him where he thought maybe the best spot he could get in at.
Mm-hmm.
And then he followed that route, hopped a fence, went up like a road, kind of similar to you, but he was on the other side of the course. And then he just appeared by like Amen Corner, basically. And long story short, he went and took the flag, unscrewed it out of 13, and he still has the 13th flag in his house.
I'm so jealous of that guy. So we were talking about it, and my boys started the car and waited on that road, and I sprinted back in. I dove under that culvert. I went back out to number 4, and I sat on that green trying to unscrew that flag, and the fucking thing wouldn't unscrew. Next thing you know, I look up to the tee box on number 4, and I see 2 utility vehicles with bright lights coming up over the hill.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I pretty much dropped the pin and sprinted out of there, and again, dived under that culvert, got into the car. I was like, go, 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 go. We got out of there, went to a gas station, regrouped. I'm like, I don't know if it was just 2 utility vehicles that happened to be driving on the course, or if they were coming for me. I don't know, but I'm assuming they were coming for me. So we got the fuck out of there.
Right. I mean, like, what maintenance are they doing at like under the moonlight?
Right. So we go back like 30 minutes later, go right back down that road, and there's no joke. 20 guys with flashlights on the fence line like
No way.
flashing the fence line. So
Holy shit.
so yeah, we did it. I mean, at the end of the day, we snuck into Augusta National and got out of there without getting caught.
Now 20 years have gone by. You were 17 years old. Like, there's people listening to this show. We've now had 2 stories of people sneaking out of Augusta National. Looking back, do you think that you should not have done that, or do you think that it's an experience in which like people clearly people do this? We've only been doing this
right.
for fucking
I mean,
2 hours.
The credit to Augusta National for creating something where people are going to want to do that. They've created it where, I mean, the odds are I'm probably never going to play that golf course, right? I might get lucky, but the odds are I probably won't. So I'm going to take the chance to say I stood on that golf course, not watching the Masters.
And it was worth going to like jail over, you think, at the moment?
So it's funny you say that. My buddy Cole, who I wish he was here. He's still my best buddy to this day. We parked, and like me and Zach kind of started to get cold feet. We're like, man, should we be doing this or not? I don't. This might not be the best idea. Our parents are up in Wisconsin. We're kind of down here on our own. If we have to call our folks in Wisconsin from jail, this is not going to be a good situation. And Cole, I'll remember it as long as I live. He zips up his rain jacket. He goes, "Fuck you guys. I'm fucking going. If you want to be pussies, that's fine. Even if I go to jail, it'll be fucking worth it."
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Taking charge.
Just good old fashioned peer pressure.
So I mean, it was doable then. I don't think you might be able to find a way in now, but
we're not advocating for that. Please, for the love of God, stop jumping the fence at Augusta National.
I'm not.
I mean, Augusta's up in their security. They're hearing if somebody out there heard 2 people talk about that they got on property.
It's already there. So I wrote it in the email I wrote in. I wrote that I had with this being broadcast out to so many people, I'm not going to say who the member was because I don't think he was telling me this stuff for me to tell a whole lot of other people. So, but if you read my email, you can see I had dinner last month with a member at that course. There are now, this is dual purpose. There are thousands of cameras in the trees. Thousands.
Right. This guy.
And,
really?
And it's dual purpose. It's for security, number one, but it's also like Augusta National Big Brother. So if if you treat a caddy like shit, or if you break a golf club over your knee, or if you mistreat the golf course or do something, specifically as a member, you're not going to be a member anymore.
Oh,
and
wow.
Really. And so I said that that was my reaction. I go, really? He goes, yeah. I said, well, how do they tell you that? He goes, well, you get mailed your invoice for dues every January, and if January comes and you don't get your invoice, you're no longer a member.
I love it.
Crazy.
So it's just passive aggressive like that. They're just
Shit.
you just no
They're
dues, no
you're
membership,
out.
you're gone.
I asked him. I said, do you know people that that's happened to? And he goes, several.
Wow.
Oh
Man.
Next time I go to Augusta, if I get the chance and I'm lucky enough, I will be looking at the trees. I'm going to be looking up in the sky, and I encourage everyone else around us to do that same thing. You know, if you're listening to, I want to see where these fucking things are. I mean, that's a crazy fact.
He was telling me there's a lot of them, so I gotta believe if you're looking, you're gonna be able to see some.
Right.
Jesus, that is scary and also very much believable.
But there'd be no chance now. Like you might, if you climb the fence, you're gonna be surrounded in 30 seconds.
Yeah, because like you said, I mean, Augusta's gotten to this point where they have to do that. They have to instill some sort of fear because at the end of the day, it's the most like wanted to be on premises places in all of golf, maybe all of sports, because of how exclusive it is, because of how insanely hard it is to get in there. You can't just buy a ticket and go in. So at the end of the day, man, like you said, if you make something that exclusive, you're gonna have psychopaths like you that just want to fucking see it. They just want to fucking see it.
To go back and like answer your other question, if our goal was to go in there and like ruin the golf course, like I can think of nothing worse to do. I mean, that golf course represents, there's nothing they do that's not perfect. There's nothing they do that's not perfect. I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but when they announced the Augusta National Women's Amateur, I was not like a fan of, I wasn't a proponent of that to begin with. And it has nothing to do with with it being a women's golf tournament, it came from the fact of like I didn't want it to ruin the Masters. Like I thought another tournament out there would take away from the prestige of the Masters. And not only has it not done that, but Augusta National membership does that tournament so well, it adds to it.
Right.
So it's just everything they do is so perfect, and they've created something that people just want a piece of it.
Yeah, they have. There's no place like him. We had a guy we talked to earlier who like he just won the lottery to get tickets for Sunday and called his brother-in-law to tell him, and they were both just crying on the phone because they got to pay for tickets to go to the Masters.
Right.
It's amazing.
No.
Absolutely amazing. All right. Well, wow. That's two separate stories now of people that have snuck into Augusta National.
There's thousands, I'm convinced.
Oh,
Yeah.
Has to be.
has to be.
You would think. I mean, you would just going back into the, if you go back to the 70s and 80s, it couldn't have been that hard.
Right.
I don't
Tens
think
of thousands.
I don't think there's too many anymore. I mean, there was a guy that ran around a couple weeks ago and it made national news because he was running from the cops on the golf course and got caught right away.
Right. Well, best of luck in the Barstool Classic, man. We're all rooting for you. Hopefully you get there in November.
Thanks, guys. I hope so too, but it'll be fun. Thanks for putting it on.
We'll see you in the morning. See you at
Sounds
Mid-Pines.
good. Have a Bloody Mary ready for me, please.
It's not a problem. Thanks for sharing.
All right, guys. Thanks.
See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.
I will say his accent changed from after the first sentence he said. It went right
Crazy.
once he said he was from Wisconsin, then it was a Wisconsin accent. It was strange.
He was all over. I couldn't have pinpointed it at
It
all.
was like a southern Wisconsin, I thought.
Right, which was weird.
Weird. Man, that must be fucking so much more common than we think. These guys sneaking on.
I
And you know
know.
what? I don't want to say that when we were there or like when we're driving around and we're going through and we're going towards didn't we drive by it when we were going towards Palmetto?
Yeah, like the first night, like the first day, we drove by it. I think we drove by it at night, actually. And we were
And like,
"Holy
there's a
shit,
thought
that
of
was it."
like, man, it'd be
Of
cool to
course.
be out there right now. You know, I want to do that with everything. I want to do that at the fucking White House. I want to do that. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, you have that feeling of like, imagine just tiptoeing around there.
And
To actually do it is.
it is different. And I don't think lucky is the right word, but the people that do that or that are willing to do it, we've had two of them tonight. They're worshipers. They're people who aren't going to fuck the course up. I know the guy stole the flag on 13. That's not great. That guy tried to steal the flag on 4. It just didn't come off. But they're not wrecking the course, which Augusta doesn't want anybody on there. They don't want anybody on there who's not supposed to be there. But at least it's people who are like, holy shit, like this is an amazing place that I never would ever think I'd be standing on, and I'm just here in the middle of the night.
Right. No, they care deeply about the place.
Right.
But, and like to Frankie's point, like too, and we've talked about it on the show. It is Sunday at 11:14 p.m. and the 12th green is just sitting there.
Yeah.
Like it's just that green is existing in this life right now, and it's I want to tiptoe around it. Like people would pay $1 billion to sit there with a cooler of beers and chip balls at different greens in different areas of that place, and just like can't do it.
Dude, it's probably a little bit like cooler at night too, as weird as that sounds. Like if you're
Under
gonna
the
see
moonlight, are you fucking
just
kidding?
like barely being able to see what's going on, and then all of a sudden like you just get that clarity of like, oh my god, wait a minute, this is Amen Corner, and like the closer you get, things start to appear. Man,
Dude, the two stories we've heard, they both said that the moon was as bright as it could possibly be. Like that golf course has to look insane under that type of lighting. Like insane. Let's bring somebody in.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Oh,
There's David.
David, what's up?
Hey, I'm good, fellas. How about y'all?
feeling
Better
good,
now.
man.
Good. Ready for next week?
Oh yeah, real fired up.
Oh, yeah.
Masters week, baby.
Damn right.
Where's that accent from?
Athens, Georgia.
Yeah, it is.
I get that a bunch, man.
Kind of sounds. You sound like the guy in Office Space.
Which one?
Oh my gosh.
His fucking his
neighbor.
Oh yeah, yeah, he does. You know what I'd do with $1 million,
The $1
man?
million guy? Yeah. I've never heard that.
2 chicks at the same time, man.
Can you say, I don't want to make you do anything that you don't want to do, but can you just say 2 chicks at the same time?
2 chicks at the same time, man.
That's
Never heard that. I'll have to go check that out. I've never gotten that one.
I don't think you need $1 million to do that.
No.
I got a cousin broke, don't do shit. All right. What?
Yeah, because he's broke, don't do shit. Fuck, that's good. All right, let's talk some golf with David, man. I'm in a good mood now.
Yeah, so back pre-Tiger, my first trip to Augusta was 91. My dad took me and three of my buddies. We're all jacked up. You know, what we're going to do? We're going to walk the golf course. We're going to hang out on the practice range. He said, nah, I just like to hang out at the restrooms and the concession stands. We're like, well, we're in, man. So we go straight in, go to 16T, set up your chairs, walk around, come back, set up 16. There's a concession stand right behind it. You can see 15 green right behind you. Just a great spot. Couple other things real quick. Let's see. Easter Sunday a couple years ago, got a phone call at 5:30 in the morning. 2 badges became available. I called my buddy. We were out the door in 45 minutes. Drove down to Augusta. Spent Easter Sunday there. Back at home by about 5 o'clock. Watched the guys coming in.
Damn. That's not a bad, like, leave the house, come back. What'd you do today? Oh, yeah, we were at Augusta National.
My wife knows the deal, man. If we get a call for badges, we're out the door.
How many times have you been?
I get this question a bunch. I've been more than the average guy. I've probably been 50 times.
What'd you say? 50?
Did you say
5 to 50?
4, 5?
Yeah, I would say that's more than the average guy. I mean,
Yeah, more than
David.
If you're,
Come on, David. Like, the average guy is 0.
Yeah.
Well, but you got to know, pre-Tiger, you could just drive up on the practice round and go in.
Oh.
So we did that a lot. You know, guys.
Is that right?
Yeah. Pre-Tiger, you just go to the practice round.
How did
See, I
they
didn't
like?
realize
How did they like limit the amount of people that went, or did not that many people know? Or
Well, no, I don't. Back then they didn't limit. Well, I'm sure they limited somehow, but you know, the par 3 tournament got out of hand, so that's when they really started cracking down on practice rounds.
what was happening at the par 3 tournament?
Shenanigans, man. Beer tents were staying open. People were getting out of hand for the green jackets. They didn't like that.
Fuck, dude. The par 3 tournament got out of hand.
Yeah, it did. Let's see. I used to be in the turf management business, and I had a buddy of ours was a assistant superintendent at Augusta, and he invited us down. We got to go pull in the main gates, drive down Magnolia Lane, just to, 50 yards or so, and you take a left and you go to the assistant's cabin. We got to spend the night on the grounds with the guys the night before, on the Sunday before 97 when Tiger won. And they've got all this cool shit there that you don't know about. They got this bat cave looking gates. You can get in. They are these secret entrances that you can get that the workers use to get in and out of the grounds. Pretty cool.
Wow.
Jesus, that's awesome. I mean,
Pretty cool stuff.
It's cool to hear that they definitely do because we all think that they do.
Yeah.
That's right. We definitely all think that they do for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Man.
No question. Had one more thing. I hold the unofficial. I tell my buddies I have the unofficial record of 13 sandwiches and 13 beers in one day. Got to be close to the record, right?
What has to be? What sandwich did you go with? Like, was it consistently the same sandwich?
It's pimento cheese, yeah.
Yeah.
Consistently
Okay.
pimento cheese.
Damn.
Wow.
13 pimento
That's a
cheese,
good stomach
13
you have
beers.
on there, too.
Yeah, you gotta have some weight
You're
on
bloated
you.
at the end of the day, man. It's a tough. And I'm like the Sergey Bubka of sandwich eating. One year I did 11, then I did 12, and I'm on 13 right now.
Jesus.
Well, 13 right now. Are your friends like chanting like you on?
Oh,
as you're
yeah.
on 13. Like, let's go.
Absolutely.
Next year you're on 14. We gotta do it.
Go time. That's right. Let's go. Hopefully I'll get to go. I haven't been in a couple of years, but hopefully
He's
I'll
like
get back
fucking
here.
Joey Chestnuts of Augusta.
Yeah.
13
That's
pimento
right.
cheese sandwiches, 13 beers.
Woo.
That's making the body work.
That's a lot of bread, a lot
Oh.
of cheese.
A lot. Yeah, it's a good time, man.
The bread and beer combo is just filling, man.
Oh yeah, the yeast. Oh my God. Have you all been to Augusta? All four of y'all been to Augusta?
No.
Well, three of us.
Three
have.
of us have.
Yeah.
Gotcha. The size of the pine trees, the colors. I mean, you just can't explain it to anybody, can you?
No, you really can't. It's it pops more than it does on TV, which is probably the only place that's true.
Yep. Agreed.
Would you say like there's people that are like and I compare a lot Disney to Augusta, right? Like it's just there's a magical world, but then the workers are all underground and you don't know where they're popping out of. But there's also a fan base of Disney goers that are obsessed with it, right? They collect all the pins, they collect.
Yeah.
Or would you put yourself in that kind of category with Augusta? You've gone 50 times.
I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm obsessed with it, but I know I'm not a pin collector. I'm a pullover and hat collector. I'll tweet you guys my hat collection and pullover collection tomorrow if I get a chance. Is it? Yeah. I'm not the Disney dad. No.
Right.
Do you get like a hat every year? Do you got like every fucking year's hat?
I probably got. No, I don't have that many hats. I probably got 15 or so.
Okay, that's a lot of hats.
Pretty good.
It's pretty cool. And how far are you? You said from the 45 minutes?
We're about 2 hours. I'm in Kevin
2 hours.
Kisner country.
Okay. Palmetto.
South Carolina.
Damn.
No, the other side where we went to college, Athens.
Right.
Oh, that's right, Athens, Georgia. Okay. Bulldog. Are you a big
Bulldog,
Georgia
baby.
Bulldog fan?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can get kids going on them all day long.
I can imagine. I can imagine. He's a good dude, man. Good as it
He
comes.
is. Yeah, kids is the man. All right, well.
All right, David.
All right,
We
guys.
appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me
Thanks a
on.
lot,
I
man.
enjoy the
I'd
content.
love to see that collection. Send that over.
Yeah,
I'll
tweet
send
that
it.
at us. I want to see that collection. I bet you got some good stuff in there.
I'll get it together. No problem.
All right, man. Have a great
All
night.
right,
Enjoy
thanks, man.
Masters Week. We appreciate it.
Dude, thank you very much.
I know we're gonna move on. That was my favorite guy. All due respect to everybody who came before
We
him.
didn't see his face. We just hear his voice.
He was
That
awesome.
guy was awesome.
We're all
Almost
picturing.
better that way. We didn't see his face.
What's his name? Like Lawrence, Terrence. What's his neighbor's
Lawrence.
name?
Lawrence.
Was it Lawrence? Is Lawrence or Terrence? I can't think now.
He's
I
like.
think it's Lawrence.
Has anyone ever said to you? What? Has anyone ever said to you? That sounds like a case of the Mondays. He's like, no, shit, no, man. I bet you get your ass kicked for saying something like that around me.
That was a good call, Riggs. That he sounded just like him.
God, when you first said that, I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? And then all I pictured was black hair, handlebar mustache,
Yep.
and that's it. Just fucking
It
He said two chicks at the same time.
two chicks
Right.
at the same time, man.
it is
Let's
Lawrence.
see the next guy in here.
Yep, Lawrence was right.
What's up, dude?
What's
Man,
up, man?
about to fall asleep in this thing.
Caught you fucking sleeping. That's gonna happen. It's a
mean-
little late night.
He's been on hold for like 2.5 hours. So I
That's
mean,
right.
I am a man of the people, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Holy shit.
How long do you think we've been doing this shit? Jeez.
Yeah.
My girlfriend was just saying, these stories better be freaking good.
You're pretty good. We got some good ones. What's up with you? How we doing tonight? You ready for Masters Week?
Yeah, man. It feels like yesterday was November.
Yeah.
Can't believe it's already here, but it's great.
I know that is bizarre, but it's good. It's a good thing. What do you got for us? You been down there?
So I've been down there once. Because it was the last time we could go, 2019. We went on Wednesday, but it was good. But the story, it's kind of a secondhand story. So my buddy, this guy I knew in my previous life, was there. This is the 2012 Masters. So it was Bubba. But on Thursday, they were staying in a house like 2 or 3 miles from the course. And this guy's like a huge runner. And so he's like, had this idea. And everyone's like, dude, you're an idiot. Like, you're going to get arrested and crucified. Then he was like, you know what? He's like, I bet I could go run the course in the morning. And nobody will think anything of it. They'll be like, oh, he's just a golfer. No one knows what Charles Howell III looks like, you know? And so he jumps the fence at like 3:30 in the morning, right? Basically behind the par 3 course. And he waits until like the sun's coming up. And it's like, of course, sunrise at Augusta. So it's Thursday. So it's like the first day of the tournament.
Oh my God.
And obviously there's not like cart paths throughout the course, but there's like 2 main concrete roads that go through it. And so he's like, I'm going to stay on the roads, you know, just to be safe. And so he starts running and it's like sun's coming up, grounds crews everywhere, and everyone just looks at him like he's getting his morning exercise. Like, hey man, like, did get after.
No way.
And he's cruising, and he's like, no one said anything, no one's waving me down, and he wore earphones to like play the part of like just getting some exercise.
Yeah.
But he wasn't listening to anything because he's like, I'm just listening to the birds chirp. Like, I can't ruin this moment, you know? He's like, Augusta. Like, it's sunrise, the dew's on the ground.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, you want to get the real experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're not gonna be listening to freaking, I don't know, pop music while you're running Augusta.
Right.
And so he's running on the roads, and he's obviously a really good runner. So he like gets to the other side really quick, and he's like, well, I can't be done. He's like, I'm just gonna keep going. So he kind of like gets back to, I guess it was that east gate, and he's like, I'm just gonna start taking off. So he goes kind of like in the rough of down 11, and then he's like, I'm just gonna do every hole. So he goes 11, and then he goes 12 around 13 in front of Race Creek, doesn't go over the bridge. He thought about it. And
just hard to explain that you're getting your morning jogging when you're running over the bridge or
exactly. Stomping on the green.
Yeah, right. Chipping. Oh yeah, that's not a run.
Yeah, and he said, you know, of course, everyone just looks at him and like gives him the nod of like, yeah, like, because again, it's like the grounds crew member's gonna be like, I'm gonna stop this guy. If he's a golfer and he's like, this is the daily routine, he does this every Thursday at every tournament, like, can't stop him, you know. And so his confidence is just like through the roof. Like he can do whatever. He's on top of the world, right? And he doesn't have his phone, and so people are like waiting, like he's probably in jail. Everyone's like, man, like, you know, he's probably in jail. It's like 7, I think it's like 6:30, 6:45. So he runs the whole course. He runs every hole. And he's freaking out, you know. And so then he's like, well, I can't just like run into the woods, because now there's like more people there, more staff, more grounds crew, whatever. And he's like, I have a decision to make. I can either try to like just bolt, and like people are gonna be like, either that dude's weird or we're gonna come after you. Or he's like, I'm just gonna nonchalantly just walk out the front gate. And so he literally walks out the front gate.
No
and there's
way.
security guys. Obviously, now there's like security just standing around, like morning chat, coffee.
Yeah.
He's sweating. You know, he's got a shirt on, but he's like drenched in sweat, earphones. He like takes off his earphone. He's like, morning. Like, just like gives him the salute, and then just walks out. And then gets to the main road, runs back to the crib, showers up, and then walks in like a normal patron and spends Thursday on the course.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Act as if takes you forever in this life. It's like, that's crazy.
It's funny because I was trying to get a hold of him today because he tells the story better than anybody. But every time, I've heard him tell it a few times, and every time at the end, he's like, those 2 hours were better than any sex I've ever had.
Great. I mean, that's the confidence is key, man.
For 2 hours? Sorry.
Yeah. So sun started coming. I started getting light outside at probably like 5:45 or 6, and he left at like 7:45.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, he went around like multiple times, 18 holes.
Yeah.
And I imagine, like, for me, that sounds psychotic. Like, I'm not gonna run, but if you're a runner, you're always thinking about the coolest places you can run, and he got to just live out his dream of running Augusta National.
Now, aren't there patrons like in like, this is Thursday? Like, don't the gates open at like 5 o'clock in the morning?
I don't know.
I think they open that early. They probably open at what, 6 or 7?
Yeah, probably like 7:30.
So
I mean,
just
the first tee time's pretty early, probably like 8 or 7:45.
So he's right. So he's just like, he was running the course right before someone, like the opening tee shot at the Masters. Like,
yeah,
Gary Player was like on the tee, like at 1, and this guy's like in shorts and a t-shirt walking past him, like walking out the front gate.
Yeah, he's walking out the front gate. Yeah, straight up.
Jesus.
But yeah, like if he's walking out the front gate and there's well, then he just looks like everybody else. He's just like chosen to wear running gear, but like,
yeah,
some security guard isn't gonna be like, hey, why are you leaving? It's like, you can leave, you just can't come in. So they got no business stopping that.
And like he said, the grounds crew's not gonna. Grounds crew's cutting fucking grass. They're not worried about who's walking around the course.
Right. If they're not doing anything wrong, you know, like destroying the course. But it's funny.
You act like you own the place, you get away with shit. Like, it's amazing.
Exactly. Because I mean, you think about it. If you look at the field of the Masters, there's 90 to 100 guys, and like the average golf fan can probably recognize 20, like 25.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
no one knows what most of these guys look like up close.
Dude, all the time we see guys in the range, and we're like, "Who's that? Do you know who that guy is?" And it's a name that you know from a leaderboard, but you're like, "Oh, that's who that is." I didn't even know that. We're in golf media. We don't know who they are.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Jesus, what a move!
Right.
Yeah, strong move. That's a bold move.
Very bold. Very bold.
I mean, you gotta just love running because like he was going to the course all day anyways. Like
he was going anyways, and if you think about it, like topographically, that's not an easy jog. Like it's hilly out there.
All day.
And you don't realize it on TV, but once you go and you walk it, you're like, oh shit! Like down 10 is like this is substantial.
Right.
It's like a mountain. You're going down a mountain. You go down 10. Wow. Man, that's ballsy. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
That's a really good story. That's really good.
Awesome. That's our third now. We've had 3 people have snuck into Augusta National.
That's unbelievable. But I heard there was something like 3 weeks ago that someone got caught.
Yeah. Apparently you can't do it now because there's got a billion cameras in the trees and stuff, and they'll bust you in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
Unreal. Well, tell your buddy that he'll have that forever. That's impressive.
Yeah. I'll let you guys go. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the story.
Sorry we woke you up.
No, you're good. You're good. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
See ya.
Part of me at the end of there, I don't know. I got a little lawyery and like I felt like I was in court. It's just maybe he had his times mixed up. I just don't know how he was like coming off 18 at 7:30.
It had to be earlier than he's saying. If that actually happened, it had to be
at
earlier.
The Masters.
Yeah.
Well, he was telling it through a friend, so I mean, like,
fair.
you know, it's.
I know, but I think that's the most logical part because then the course is just full with people, so he wouldn't even stand out.
But if he's jogging around, you look different.
Yeah.
Like
even
but
jogging,
but he said he walked out. He said he decided not to run out. He just walked out.
I know. True.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't think it's true. I'm just saying like even the act of jogging, and I know that like the big part of the story is like no one's gonna stop him because he could be a player, but like there's a ton of people I would assume out there at 6 o'clock, 6:30, like chairman type people, like an hour before the opening tee shot at Augusta National for the Masters, like. The majority of that guy's running. You don't think guys are like raking bunkers, like or like checking pins from like Augusta, and they've never seen a guy run the fucking golf course? Like, I don't know. It's just, I mean, it's crazy they didn't get caught. If that's true, it's crazy.
It's crazy
because that's just the most right. I mean, that's one of the more unbelievable ones that we've heard.
Yeah.
The other stuff's like no problem. Like anyone can get there in the pitch black. Like, yeah, you just don't get caught.
He said in that story, he said the
daylight.
guy got there at 3:30 in the morning. It was dark and waited to run before it got light out,
so that it would look more natural.
Right. I believe it. I just think the time is might be a little different. But if it happened, it happened.
The other thing that might have inadvertently helped him is the ceremonial opening tee shot. Like all those chairmen and members and stuff, they're all in one place for that.
True.
For like 30 or 45 minutes.
I guess
They're all on the first tee.
I'm just picturing like him running down 18 at like 7:25. Just a guy jogging in shorts and a t-shirt with AirPods in. It's like, what is that guy doing? That's not Charles Howell III. That's some fucking guy jogging the golf course.
Wow. All right, let's bring somebody else in. Who we got? John.
John, what's up, man?
Yeah, what's up, dude? How are you?
Doing great. How you doing?
Not too bad. Thanks for having me on.
Sorry to keep you up.
Nah, it's all good.
As long as we fucking probably had you on. Also,
it's all good.
Jake, my recording stopped after 3 hours, so I've restarted. That'll be a nightmare. So I should have probably clapped or something, but we're just in it.
Mine went longer than 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm 3:15, buzzing.
Yeah.
Jesus, it's a good workout, you boys.
There's gonna be 4 minutes where I lost audio, but whatever.
That's okay, Frankie. We'll get over. Where you at, John?
I'm in Philly, so yeah, live in Philly now. Spent some time up in New York, but born and raised in Philly, outside of Philly. Member at a course called White Marsh Valley, which is right outside Philly, kind of near like Philly Cricket area. So
sweet.
Playing golf my whole life, and have a pretty crazy story about Augusta, about the Masters, etc. So I'm sure similar to to you guys and a lot of people out there, me and my dad, kind of the biggest thing that we sort of connect over is sports. And one of those things has always been golf. And we played since I was, since I don't even know, 3 years old, I guess. So been playing golf my whole life. And one of the sort of the biggest weeks every year is obviously the Masters and just seeing Riggs. I think what you tweeted out that first sort of video of the flowers blooming down there and just getting ready for just the week and the golf season in general, especially up here in the Northeast as it's starting to get a little nicer here. But my story actually is not something that I was personally there for, but something that when I saw your tweet come out was something that I felt like I had to share. But so it was something that my dad more experienced, and it's just something that I'll never forget. Him sort of telling me the story about. So just to kind of take you guys through it. So my dad, John Gergitis, him and one of his best friends, Mike Warhatch, probably went to Augusta maybe I don't even know 15 or 20 years in a row to go to the Masters each year. So they would go every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday usually for, I think it was honestly 20 years in a row, and it was a lot easier to get tickets back in the day. But they also had a little bit of a hookup through a guy who they actually ended up becoming good friends with, who was a marshal at Augusta for probably, I don't know, 40 plus years. So they kind of had some connections through work with him, and then ended up getting tickets through him, and it kind of became this thing that they did every single year for a long time. And every year they would sit on the 14th green. So that was kind of their spot where they would go and put their chairs there, which is kind of a little bit of an underrated spot. Everyone obviously usually runs to Amen Corner or to 16, etc. But 14 is actually kind of a hole that, I guess it's the one hole without bunkers, but it's the green is, I mean, you guys obviously know the green is just insane, like a lot of them are, but it's an extremely hard hole, kind of nestled in between the two par fives. So
yeah, and you can sit like right on the green.
Literally on the green. So a couple years ago, like my dad actually got Tony Finau hit a ball literally right into his beer cup sitting right there. And
no way.
When they used to go a long time ago, so whatever, 20, 30 years ago, they were legitimately on the green. Like now it's pushed big. Every year, my dad's like, it pushes back a little bit further each year. And now it's probably, with COVID and everything, it'll probably, I mean, who the hell knows, it'll be like all the way back. But
yeah, because I remember when we went, like Trent, we sat right behind the green right there, and you were like, you could literally like put your fingers, you could lean out and just like touch the green. Like we're just sitting behind the ropes on the green.
Right.
So backstory sort of out there that they kind of, my dad and his friend would go every single year and sit on 14. And then so in 2002, my dad and his friend got the crazy opportunity to go down and play Augusta through this same connection who was able to get them tickets for the 20 plus years that they went. Obviously, I actually remember being in the car with him when he got the call. That was like, I was about probably 10 years old, but I remember him getting the call saying hey, we have a chance to play Augusta tomorrow. Do you want to come down? And he literally obviously dropped everything he could, got the next plane out there, and went down to play with his best friend and this other guy who was a marshal, and then I think one of the members. So it's kind of skipping forward to that. They sort of obviously get down there. They're playing. They're having, I assume, one of the best days of their life. My dad still has pictures in his office today of him in that front bunker on 12, hitting it out of there. I think he actually sculled one over the green at that bunker into the back bunker. Just, I mean, the things that anybody that would ever get to play Augusta would talk about for the rest of their lives. But going back to sort of where I was, obviously him and his friend, like I said, they sat on 14 for 20 plus years, always went to that hole. That was kind of their hole. Every year they go down there for a couple of days. So they get to the 14th hole, and my dad's friend, Mike, hits his drive down the middle. He ends up actually holing out for eagle on 14,
Jeez.
the hole that they sat at for, I mean, every year for a long time. So obviously, I mean, playing Augusta, holing out on the hole that you watch, the highest of highs, which is just, I could not even imagine, unbelievable. And this is sort of where the story kind of takes a little bit of a turn which is just, it's just a crazy emotional story. But literally, and this is the way my dad tells it to me, two minutes later, somebody that worked at Augusta drove up to their group and literally came up to their group and said, like, Mike, John, is this you guys, etc., and said, we actually just got a call. You guys have to, something very serious happened. You guys have to come back with us up to the clubhouse. And they literally found out, literally 2 minutes after he made an eagle on 14, that his brother just tragically passed away from a heart attack. And I know that's a crazy, crazy turn, kind of just from the highest of highs, the craziest thing, to the lowest of lows. And it's a story that I felt like I had to share. It's emotional, it's crazy, but it's just something that, I mean, it's like, he literally went from holing out on the hole that he's kind of just their hole, him and his best friend, and literally then his brother was 46 years old, passed away from a heart attack out of nowhere, and they actually not finishing the round. They went in, and obviously his life has changed forever. But just a pretty crazy story.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it makes you realize a lot too, right? Like, we're talking about how Augusta's like so up here, and then you really realize that, you know, like, what's really important in life versus that is like we build all this up to care so much about stuff, which is good. Like, we like caring about stuff, but it's like there's just so much more important things in life. Like, what a roller coaster. Obviously that's horrible, but I mean, we appreciate you sharing. It's just
yeah, no, I mean, it's not I mean, it's just something that, like I said, I wasn't there, and it was just something that it's like, I just, every time, I mean, whenever that story kind of comes up with my dad and his friend, it's just something that it's like just a holy shit moment. Like, to your point of like, I mean, you could never probably tell them that or Mike himself, that going to Augusta and playing Augusta would probably be one of the worst days of his life, but it probably ended up being that. So it's just crazy story. And then actually, I was lucky enough that my dad actually brought me and two of my best friends, Gus and Birdie, down there for in 2019. So I was actually able to go down there with my dad. Mike didn't come with us, but went down there in 2019. We sat on 14, and kind of I got to go through that whole experience with him. So it's place is amazing, obviously, and it's just holds a special place in my heart after going the year Tiger won too. But it was just a crazy story.
Wow. Yeah, imagine like all your gear you have is from 2019, which is, I mean, that's like maybe that's the
one, right? That's the one. Yeah, no, I mean, I'll literally remember. I mean, I'll remember for the rest of my life. I mean, you guys may too, but Tiger so we went on Thursday, and Tiger literally, he was in the trees on 14 on Thursday to the left, and stuck one from in the trees to like 20 feet or something, and nailed the birdie. We like flew out of our chairs. Literally, it's the loudest I've ever screamed in my entire, like, I went to the Eagles Super Bowl, like an Eagles season ticket holder, like obviously going nuts, and I've never heard a place or screamed as loud as I have when he made that putt. It was nuts.
That's amazing. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, because he had multiple days where he was in the left trees on 14. He had the one where like the security guy almost took him out, and then he had and then he had the one on Thursday when you guys were there.
Yeah.
Did you guys go back and like look in the footage to see if you could find yourself like in the crowd on the putt?
Yeah. Oh my God, that was another thing that I actually kind of I meant to say earlier on. Like, so we did, and I don't know if we were like right behind. So I think the camera was like above us, so I couldn't see us, but we were like in the first row right there because we obviously did the whole, or don't run to your seat or whatever. But we were darting down 11 or 10, the slope of 10 to get to 14 green. We got in the first row there, but we didn't see each other there. But that was another thing I was going to say is when I was younger, I used to literally always, I don't know if you guys remember when you guys were younger, I'm around some of your guys' age, but when it was on TNT on Thursday and Friday, I think, and it was on for like 2 hours, like Riggs, you always complain about how they never show golf and we're missing all this golf. They used
especially the Masters.
It used to be for like 2 hours out of the entire day. So we're a little luckier today, even though it obviously should be better. But
Yeah, I remember like it wasn't even that long ago that you had to wait till like 3 p.m. when ESPN coverage would come
Just
on.
to
Or
see
something. That
any-
was like the
yeah.
first time you could see any.
Dude, I want to
matches.
say that.
What
I
are we
want to say that was
doing?
like 4 years ago. Like I don't think it was. I feel like it was really recently that was the case.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and what I used to do when my dad would go when I was young, much younger, is I used to just wait. I remember getting home from school and watching on TNT and just looking for my dad whenever they turned 14. Like, where is he? Where is he sitting there? And that's when he was literally like on the green. I could always spot him like every year. So it's just, and there's just nothing like just being there. I mean, I've been to a couple other golf tournaments, and it's just like the interaction with the players too. Like you'll be walking down one of the fairways, and a ball will kind of come out of nowhere and just like come up right next to you. I remember we had one of those instances with Sergio where his ball just kind of, we were walking down a rope on 5, I think, and hit his little bit of a cut and ended up right on next to the ropes. You just stand there, watch the next shot, and it's like right on top of him. It's just, it's an amazing place.
It's the best.
Yeah, it is, man. It is. Well, it's Masters Week, so I mean, I'm fired up. Obviously, but man, that's powerful. That's emotional stuff. I appreciate you sharing with us.
Yeah, no, definitely. I thank you guys for having me on, and it's that place I'm hoping I get to go back, but even if I never do, it's an amazing place for good things, bad things, for everything. It's kind of something something that will hold a special place in everyone's heart, and it's hard to explain until you go there. But
For sure.
Definitely.
It's pretty
It's
cool.
possible to explain.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for coming on, John. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, John. We
Thanks.
appreciate it, man. Have
Yeah.
a good night.
You too.
Thanks for waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Later.
See you, man. Thank you.
Boy, that audio was tough. I mean, I'm sorry to all the listeners if whatever that sounded like, unless
I didn't
producer
think-
Jake can do something to that, but it was driving me up a wall, as the kids say. There's just
I
this
think you're more
wave.
sensitive
Gave him
to
an,
it
oh,
than other
yeah.
people.
I didn't hear-
figured that
I
you
heard
were
like a
just
little
sick of the audio
buzzing.
because you were just,
Like
yeah.
a little buzzing. That was it.
Holy moly. I mean, I don't know. I got these good headphones on, and it was loud. It was loud. Well,
We got-
crazy story.
That is
I
a crazy
wonder-
story.
Yeah, I wonder if, and I didn't want to ask him. I mean, it's a lot, but if that guy was ever able to like really enjoy the Masters ever again, or Augusta. I mean,
It's
Yeah, because it's tough.
That
It
is
puts
tough.
you in the
worst
tough.
place of all time. for
they
him.
pull you right off the course, and yeah, that's a lot.
Oof.
Yeah. We got one guy left, Tyler. You all right?
We got one. Yeah, my AirPods just did the thing where they told me they're about to die. That's how long we've been going.
I think my body just told me that about 10 minutes ago. We got Tyler coming on.
Look at that. Oh,
Oh,
there he is.
I don't see him.
Wow.
I do now.
Let's go,
He's
Tyler.
ready to go. Tyler, what's up?
Dressed and ready to go.
Boys, first of all, love y'all stuff. Shout out
Oh,
George.
yeah.
Appreciate that. How we doing?
Good. No,
Tyler, if
tired
you're
here,
on
but we're going.
if you're on like a Wi-Fi or something, can you go off that? Just because you're going a little in and out with the connection. I don't want to start unless we have the.
Oh, did he? Oh, there he is. Oh, no, he's gone.
Oh no. Oh no.
You're good
I think
there.
you're good now. You're good. Whatever you just did, you're
Okay.
good.
All right, we're good. We're good.
Wi-Fi's the podcast killer for some reason.
Always. Yeah.
How we doing? Where you from? Where you at?
So I'm in Michigan right now, kind of the Flint area, but don't like to lay claim to it exactly.
Yeah, how's the water over there? Is that like a touchy subject?
Yeah, not for us out here, but I'm good. We're on a well, so I'm not too worried about it.
They got a bad rap. Like whenever you hear about that, whenever you hear Flint, Michigan, it's just holy shit.
Yeah,
Water problems.
Yeah, it's the only way to kind of describe where I'm at, because I'm not going to say I'm from Detroit.
Right.
But
Hey, I
yeah,
heard there's sneaky good golf in Michigan that we got to get out there and play.
there is. You guys got to get out. I played at Arcadia a couple times. Kind of tore me up, but it's more about the experience out there. And then
Kind of like
there's
Aaron Hills.
Yeah.
Like same vibe.
Yeah, there's some other good courses up north. I'm actually doing a bachelor party up in Traverse City in a couple months and playing like Grand Traverse Resort and some other couple of courses up there, so it should be pretty sweet.
Nice.
Hell yeah. So Masters Week, what do you got for us?
So 2019, been
Good year.
wanting to go but tickets are outrageous on the secondary market. But but the lady pulled through. She gave me a card about 2 weeks before. She wanted to do like the 2 days right before the Masters, but I was just starting up a job at the course. So she got these tickets for me on the secondary market. They were crazy expensive. Gave me a card, waterworks, crying all over the place, tearing up right now just thinking about it. So yeah, we get down to Augusta and we're watching everything. The rain's rolling in and kind of get the notice that it's going to be the kind of abbreviated tee times going off 1 and 10. So we decided to get up first thing in the morning and get there. And we're through the secondary market. We're doing it through eBay. So this guy is kind of like a sketchy situation. It feels like you're like, I don't know, kind of like the Gary Player thing for you guys. Like, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, I'm kind of getting sketched out. We paid like $4 or $5 grand for these tickets, like Sunday at the Masters, obviously, you know? Yeah. And he's like, yeah, meet me at the Olive Garden. It's like right by the gate. And they had parking there. So we parked there. And I'm like, go up to this guy. And he's got 2 passes. And it's like full blown, like legit. Like we vetted him out fully. He does this for like Super Bowl tickets and everything. So.
How do you know that was legit though? Like, how did you know that he didn't just laminate stuff and like?
Well, like, so my fiance, she bought him through like the secondary market, I think through StubHub or some kind of whatever site like that, and she got a notice like a week later saying that the tickets weren't available. So my mother-in-law, she went searching all over, and my fiance, credit to her, she was like. I'm taking him. It's going to be his birthday. Like, I just got this feeling about Tiger. And if for some reason Tiger wins and he's not there, then I'm going to feel like a real jackass that I didn't get him those tickets. So her mom went through the secondary market, got on eBay, and just did the buy it now through this guy. And it was crazy. But she vetted him out, and he had like a bunch of like 5-star ratings for Super Bowl tickets and like everything. So she was pretty confident, but still it's like, you know, that's a lot of cash to throw out.
Totally.
But yeah, he got the passes and, you know, like we walked right in off that Olive Garden, but on the way there down Washington Avenue, like we're stressing out trying to meet this guy on time. And we see like these, couple of these corporate vehicles, the Infinity cars, and I look over and one's numbered, and I'm like, man, that guy kind of looks familiar. Driving, we're kind of right next to each other, like looking, and all of a sudden I'm like, babe, I think that's Patrick Reed. And she's like, no. And like I'm looking over and I like look at him, he makes eye contact with me, like, oh, this asshole's here gonna want to say hi to me, you know, because he wasn't playing that well. He's basically there to just hand out the jacket and give him the old nod, and he puts his blinker on. I let him over, and then like a quarter mile down the road, he just picks up some random guy off the road. And I thought like maybe it was his caddy, but I kind of follow all these guys because I'm into golf. So I realized it wasn't Kessler or whatever. And it was kind of just bizarre. And he got we basically followed him right. He went right into the Masters road or whatever the hell it was called, and we turned right into the Olive Garden. That's when we met that guy. And then it just kind of
picked up a random guy.
Wait, hold on. We got hold on. Patrick Reed picked up a random guy just off the street?
It had to be somebody in his crew. I don't know if his brother or if it was like what Justine's brother or something like that. But I'm telling you, I was watching because I let him over, and I was like, I'm not gonna not let over the defending Masters champion, be a real asshole not to do that. Even though, like, I mean, I love Patrick Reed, but I mean,
do you? Doesn't sound like you do.
I don't think you do.
Not getting a glowing remark out of him.
But so I let him over, and yeah, like, you know, it's kind of rainy that morning, and he just like stopped over. This guy was walking, and he like just let him in. I'm like, did he just let a random guy off the street? And I'm like, I don't think that was his caddy, but like he teed off relatively quickly, so he almost like acted like, I don't really care, I'm trying to get to the courses, it lasts a second as I can and just tee off, get this ceremony over with. because I think he was only like 1 under +1 or something like that. So he wasn't doing that good.
Weird story.
Yeah, and then like it just kind of got like to go through the whole day kind of quickly, like get on the grounds, like they let you in waves, so it's like you're sitting in under those bridges, like where you like walk through those tunnels, and like all the green jackets are sitting there like letting people in, in waves, and I'm sitting there like shaking, like I can't believe this is about to happen. Like we're in the grounds, tickets been accepted, like we're going. And like go right in, and there's a bathroom like right in there before you get to like the media center and everything, and stop and go and waiting on the lady, and I'm just like standing there like looking at the trees, like just start to tear up. I'm just like thinking like it's my birthday, like I was getting ready to propose in like 2 weeks, and I started getting sentimental about that, and I'm just starting to like full blown cry, and she comes back from the bathroom, and I'm like wiping my eyes, and I'm like, I just love you so much, like starting to like freak out, because I was like, I can't believe this is here, can't believe we're here. And we got right into it, and then we went right to the phone banks and called the father-in-law and kind of just talked to him like we're at Augusta, like we're about to go get a pimento cheese sandwich, like check all the things off the list, the blue drink, everything.
Yep.
And
sports drink?
Yeah, had to. I mean, I've been following you guys for a while, so I know all the ins and outs of what to go for.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, we gave you the blueprints for what to do when you get in there.
For sure.
That's amazing, dude. You were there when Tiger won the Masters.
I know, and it was just nuts because we actually got on the broadcast on hole 2, the par 5. We were like, I don't know, about 60 or 70 yards off the green, and obviously I don't have phone or anything there, so I didn't know this happened until I got back to my phone. But like as he's stalking the putt, like his first putt, that long one on the second hole, like you just pan across, and he's like eyeing it up, and I'm like right there in the background, and like standing right next to my fiance, and they pan back a couple times, like as he's lining up, like I'm just sitting there watching, and you can see me, I'm like, oh wait, there's a camera right there, I think we might be on. And then like my whole family started blowing up my phone. Like when I got back, you could see everybody like, was that you? Holy shit, no way, I can't believe that was you. I'm like, we're here, baby. Like I can't believe it.
It was like a scene from Rudy where they're all watching.
Yeah. So yeah, we were just trying to follow him around, get ahead of the crowd so we could get right up on the ropes. And that's kind of where the best experience of the whole event happened. Because like, we didn't get to see the full course because it was they were trying to speed up play because the storms were coming. So we didn't get to go through like every hole and walk up like we wanted to. But we got to hole 8 and we watched a couple of guys come through. I think we were 3 groups ahead, and I was standing like right next to Spieth's family, and like right next, Bubba's wife came like right up next to me, and we were just like all standing and talking. And so I forget who else is in his group, Molinari and Finau, I think. And they both hit their shots first, and then Tiger goes and he hits that 5-wood. And like we can't tell whose ball's what, and all of a sudden this ball comes rolling, and I'm like, oh, come on, baby, like please be Tigers. And then it's rolling, and you just see the Bridgestone logo roll up, and it just right on the side you can just see Tiger, and it's like 3 feet from my feet, right by the ropes. And I'm like, I look at my fiance, and I'm like, holy shit, it's going down. And all like the people in the coats coming, not any green coats, but like the security come and start pushing us back. And I'm like standing my ground. I'm like, I'm not moving. And he comes right up, like Joey comes up and like sets the bag down right at my fiance's feet. And I'm like looking at the head cover. I'm looking at all the clubs. I can like, Tiger's coming over, and he's like, I think he could get relief from the tower if there was lines or something by, but he's like talking to the officials, and they were like, yeah, do you understand all the rules? And he was like, yeah, I get it. I can see what I need to do here. And he's just like, I can see like the tape on his finger, it's frayed. And I'm like, I'm sweating, and I'm like starting to like tear up right there. And I'm like, this is not happening right now. And I keep on just saying like, on my birthday, on like Easter, right? I'm getting married, and it's like, holy shit, I can't believe this is happening. And like if I wanted to, I could put my hand right on Frank, the head cover, and I'm just like, I'm getting worked up right now just talking about it. And he hits it and gets up and down, and like the crowds just go absolutely nuts. And like you could hear, like we were watching his we were watching the score. Every birdie that was posted right on that scoreboard, you could we were cheering more than when there was a putt made, like Bubba came through or something and it made a putt, and everybody was like, yeah. But when a simple score was posted on the board, people were like chest bumping and high five. Then it was like, no way. It was just crazy. Man. You could really hear the tiger roars.
What an emotional dude. I fucking love you, man. That's fucking amazing.
Dude, it was crazy. Like,
you love it. Like, you just fucking love it.
Oh, I love it more than anything. And we know it did. We spent I think like $700 in the merch shop right before. It wasn't even hard. I bought towels for I think every one of my friends that I play golf with. All my buddies have Augusta towels, and I'm like, you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome.
Dude, at the end of the day, like for such a big fan like you, such a big Tiger guy, to the point where you're like weeping seeing him like throughout the whole day, to be there when he fucking wins the Masters, and like even though you spent a shit ton of money on aftermarket tickets or whatever, at the end of the day, it's worth it. You can't come up with a better like experience at Augusta National, right? Like some people go there and they get the same feeling as you, and they go on the Tuesday practice round for like to see a fucking whatever, just to see the grounds. And like,
I mean, I would argue that if you knew that outcome, the tickets would have been 30 times what he paid.
Oh, I would have, we would have, instead of putting that chunk of change on the down payment for the house, we probably would have choked it up if we would have known the outcome before. But dude, it was crazy. It was just like, it's like nothing could have played into, like everything worked so well. Like every dinner we had was perfect. Like gas was cheaper. Like, everything.
Fucking tearing up at the gas station, being like, "Goddamn, man,
it's $1.65 here. It's $1.65."
Wiping tears away from his face, like no, pay cash or credit, like fucking cash, man.
Whichever one's cheaper, man. It's the craziest part of the whole thing is like, you go to Augusta and it's like the craziest, best course in the world, and right across the street is like a Burger King. It's like you're sitting there, like we went to like Carrabba's or something the night of and got like a normal ass meal, like just nothing crazy. And then like the next day we were sitting on like the most hallowed ground in golf, and it was just like,
well, it's weird. Everything is like that now. I talked about it the other day, but like there's a fucking Starbucks next to the pyramids in Egypt now. So it's just like there's nothing that sacred anymore. But once you're on the other side, there's nothing better.
Yeah, and it's like when we finally like left and we like kind of drove back down Washington Avenue, kind of just to see the whole thing. Like, you could see Daly's bus was still there at Hooters. And, like we're like, oh, there's a diamond shop like right across from this Olive Garden, and I'm like, this is just crazy. And like we're driving through, and I couldn't figure out where Magnolia Lane was. Like you keep on going down, and all of a sudden, you're trying to slow down and look, and you can see all like the tour trucks and parking on the one side, and you look over, and it's just like not even gated up. Like there's two like stands and security guards and shit, and then all of a sudden you can like, if you're driving slow enough, you look right down and you can see like the mast, like the United States and the flowers, and see it like right down, all the way down Magnolia. And we like whipped it around and did that little strip one more time just to look at it. We slowed down to like 5 miles in the middle of Washington Avenue just to see it. It was just like, I can't believe. And like literally right next door was Burger King or Taco Bell or something.
Awesome.
What a way to end this fucking thing, man.
Tyler, let me ask you a question. Are you trying to talk softly and not wake up the fiance right now? Is that what's going on?
Yeah. And my dog, dude, she barks at everything. It's just the worst.
But yeah, I could tell. No, it wasn't a big deal. I could tell you were being slightly softer than you.
I thought he was maybe gonna start tearing up again. That's why I thought he was being quiet. But
he's kind of like sunken down in a corner of like the living room. It looks like. So I figured he's trying to keep
the fire rolling.
Oh
still.
yeah, man.
Unreal.
Dude, it's 12:07 on Easter Sunday. We've been doing this for 4 hours. Like people are literally sleeping in the world. I mean,
I know.
True.
I looked at that last email that Jake sent out, and it was like 11:12, and it was like, thanks for everybody that joined. And I'm like, shit. But then it was like, oh, we're still rolling. And I'm like, Jesus, these guys are putting in the work to get this thing. But I'm glad I'm wrapping it up here because, like, I'm probably talking lighter too because I'm trying not to get emotional because I swear just talking about it gets me worked up. I start to tear up because
I love this
like
guy.
You said, like going to Augusta just to go is emotional, but having it be on your birthday with your fiance and it's like everything working out, like basically could smell Tiger.
I do love you, man.
This is the best. This is the fucking best. And people remember during this call, Patrick Reed picked up some random guy, and we've mentioned Olive Garden. We've mentioned Olive Garden like 4 times. This might be the best one. Yeah, this is just fucking fantastic.
This is such a pure one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
good shit, man.
I've been watching you guys for a while, so it's like I'm joining my buddies to talk.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate that. This was a good one. Fuck. God, you just love it so much. That's what the Masters is. That's like Masters. It's just
and it's like
bought into all of it, every part of it.
We were talking about trying to go this year, like trying to do the whole thing over again. But then it's like when the accident happened with Tiger, it was like, man, I was like, I don't know if I can go back and not not have him there again because it was like nuts. Like it feels like it wouldn't do it justice.
I totally get it.
Dude, I fucking love this guy.
Me too, man. Seriously. And I think I'm a little like, you get that feeling when you stay up all night with your buddies and like you start to lose it a little bit. Like we've been doing it for 4 hours now, but you just, you talking about not wanting to go back to Augusta because Tiger's not going to be there is fucking awesome, man. It's fucking awesome.
You try to tell me I'm not a Tiger guy.
You are, man. Absolutely.
You're as Tiger guy as there is in the
Tiger
world.
Tyler, man. Fucking Tiger Tyler.
Wow.
Tiger Tyler.
Fuck.
Oh, man.
This is perfect.
You're the best, Tyler. I hope you have the best Masters week of anybody.
Yeah, dude. Just fucking watch the shit out of that Masters this year.
It's supposed to be rainy here, so we're about to have every TV in the house set up, boys.
Love it, man.
Hell yeah, man.
Perfect.
Dude, thank you for calling in. This was awesome.
Appreciate the call.
Well,
thanks for staying up all night with us. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to listening back.
Awesome,
man.
man.
Bro.
Appreciate it.
Tyler. We appreciate
all right, guys.
it.
Thanks.
Yep.
That guy is
What a fuck. That guy just fucking loves Augusta National. He fucking loves Tiger Woods. And he's just a happy fella that just wants to fucking enjoy little moments in life.
At one point, there was just a beat of silence, and he goes, I can smell Tiger Woods. He's sitting so close to me.
I can just fucking smell Tiger Woods, man. And then at one point he's like, I could have reached out and grabbed Frank if I wanted to, and I could feel the urge of just wanting to squeeze that little plush. Triton is gonna pass out. That fuck, you start to squeeze that fucking head cover, man. Just let me touch it, dude. Like I can touch that thing if I want to.
Oh man.
Woo!
I love that guy.
Keeping you up.
Oh my god.
Frankie, please.
Woo!
Sorry, Warchie got to go to Sweepies now.
We just gotta do 2 hours.
I am tired, but I know you're tired too.
There's
Everybody's
no
gotta be
denying.
tired.
There's no denying how tired I am.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you looked like an hour ago. You go, I'm in a bad place. So now
Dude,
you're just throwing
well,
that.
I had to go to
heat
the.
on me.
I had to take a shit an hour ago, and it went away. So I don't know what that does. If what's up, Doc? What happens there? Like, where did that go?
I'm tired.
that weird how that can
Everybody's
happen?
tired. I feel bad because Trent's in the office.
Oh, that was good stuff.
God,
all right,
Tyler,
everyone.
man.
Thank
Fuck
you for
yeah.
listening. We had a great time. Enjoy Masters Week. We'll be back on Thursday. If we didn't get to anybody, we did get to everybody, but people probably hung up on us that were waiting on the line all night. But everybody have a lovely Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Masters Week. We'll be back on Thursday. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.